wife? How's the wife? How's the kids? Happy Friday. Oh my God. Friday. Oh my God. Hello. Oh man, Chatters, we have so much to do today. We have so much to do. Oh my God. You know what? Like, listen. Oh yes. No, I'm doing well. Oh my God. I hope life's been treating you well. We have so much to do today. You know what? We gotta just jump right on into it. Oh my good gracious. We have to put our nose to the grindstone today. We have so much to live for. We have so much to learn. We have so much to lose. Oh my good gracious. And today, Chatters, I am looking Bifuealete. Wait, no, that's not how you spell it. Beautiful. I'm looking beautiful, baby. Oh my God. No, but today, Chatters, we have so much to do. We have to... Hello, Sam. We have to go work away on the factories. We have to make sure that we get the roads working. We gotta get more glass made up to build Rain, the greatest floral installment you've ever seen. We have to do so much. And this castle, oh my God, this castle, we gotta get working on it. We've gotta be insurance that we need to make sure that this empire will survive, that this empire will thrive, that this empire will grow to new heights. I've been thinking that, we might want to try some new things. And it's just, I don't know, it's been a weird week, I've felt weird all week. I've just felt like, maybe I should be trying some new things. Maybe we could be exploring more. It's hard to say, but things kind of come to you almost like they're in dreams sometimes. And I don't know, maybe that's a weird thing to say, but for me, I think dreams can be important. I think dreams can be really valuable, It just seems to me that dreams are always going to be the thing that you rely on to know what's right and maybe what's wrong, Anyway. Oh, what's that? Nothing, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. It's just been a weird couple days. It's been a very, very weird couple days. But, I guess that's just the way things are and the way things go. There's nothing really to be done about it. You just gotta keep moving right along. Strange, Anyway, Chatters, you've been awful quiet. How have you been? How have you been, Chatters? It's, it's really strange. I don't think I got to listen to any of your redemptions. That's so weird. I am not. How dare you, Caleb? How dare you? But thank you so much for 23 months! Or 22 months, sorry! Oh my good gracious. Tier 3 once again! Oh my good gracious! That is insane. That is wild. Oh man. Anyway, but yeah, so like I said, we gotta try new things. Try out whatever we're gonna be doing for our dreams and the like, It's just you, big man. Oh, it should be fine. That's strange. It should be. Your sub replay here. Well, let's try again.
Nepal 16YIPPEE Nepal 16
Oh my God.
YIPPEE Nepal 16 YIPPEE hello. Only one more month until the big 2 years? What a heck.
Oh my good gracious. Yo, MJ, thank you so much for 23 months. You're right, 1 month off of 2 years, my God. And also Oliver, thank you so much, though it didn't actually show up as a redeem that I can replay. But thank you so much for, oh my good gracious, 13 months of tier 1. Oh my good gracious. Chatters! What an odd start to a stream. You were awful silent there for a little bit. I hope you're doing all right. I hope you didn't... You all just kind of weirdly fell silent on me. We got really deep into the project already, and then it came back. It was weird. Hopefully the rest of the stream's normal. Anyway, also, Oliver, the shopping carts are perfectly normal. The shopping carts are perfectly normal. But also, hello, chatters, hello, lurkers, hello, VOD watchers, and hello, Tiger, how do? Hello, Gred, hello, oh my good gracious. It was such a weird gamble to do that. Oh my god. I was like, no way anybody subs right off the jump. Turns out, oh my god. Oh. Chatters, I'm having a wonderful time. I'm enjoying myself. I'm vibing. Only three of us. Only a hype train. It's only a hype train that started. You know, it's only something little like that. Good girly moody. Okay, buddy, stop gaslighting us. What do you mean, Oliver? What do you mean? I don't know what you're talking about. I was just working away on this here. I was working away here on this build, and then you guys just kind of, you know, came back. You were really silent, and then suddenly you were right back at it again. But you know, I'm liking how this is coming along. But as I said earlier, we do have so much to do. We got to work on Rain's project. We got to work a bit more on the roads. You know, it's all really important. It's all really important to get done. My good gracious. Hope stream's no over the rest of the time. What do you mean? What do you mean? Of course I do. I wouldn't want it to be. I wouldn't want it to be abnormal, chatters. Neither would you. Neither would you. I think we've just been having a bit of a spotty connection as of late. You know, there's a bit of spotty connection. You know. Oh my god, they don't go 360. What do you mean they don't go 360? What are you talking about? Oh, the cards. Buddy, it's called turning. What do you mean? Just turn. Actually, in fairness, I can't necessarily speak to what in God's name they do have or don't have down in the lovely state that you visited, because, you know, that place is kind of out of whack on a lot of things, so perhaps they have cinder blocks for wheels on their carts. I don't know. Or perhaps the carts you're useful are literal circles. I'm not totally sure. But anyway, either way, chatters, I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for bearing with me through our, you know, weird technical difficulties. That was weird. That was strange. And welcome to stream. Welcome to stream. With the UK wheels, all four, they turn 360, but it's only the front two. Well, yeah, why would you need all four to turn 360? That would be weird. Why would you need that? That just sounds like you're asking for problems. You know? Oh my god. Oh my good gracious. Oh. But also, once again, Oliver, thank you so much for the sub. Caleb, thanks so much for tier 3 again, which again is stupidly wild, but I guess rich boy gonna rich. And oh my god, MJ, thank you so much for nearly 2 years. I can't believe it's almost been 2 years. 2 years this May. Wow, wee woo, you know? Oh my good gracious. Let's head on over to where we've set our lovely little grid that is specifically for Ray. Ray loved it. Ray's the architect, actually. Anybody who thinks that this is a bit of an odd setup for our upcoming Copperfield, well, turns out Ray has done this for a living and knows exactly how this ought to be, and instructed me very specifically on how I ought to lay out the copper. And so I'm only following their directions, and if there's any issues, you know, you're gonna have to take it up with them. You're gonna have to take it up with them. MJ, I don't know what you mean, bully. I'm literally just following what they told me to do. You know, I'm just doing as they say. Compromise shopping carts with rear wheel drive. Honestly, all-wheel drive. Where's my shopping cart with all? Why aren't shopping carts just monster trucks? That's kind of the real question here, I think. I think that's got to be the real question that we ask ourselves. Why aren't shopping carts just monster trucks? Why do I have to deal with some silly little negligent little piddly little thing? Why can't I just have a big old truck? Oh man. Also, I can now say you don't live for now 49 more states to cross out. Hey, maybe I did, pal. Maybe I did. Maybe I was there. Maybe I saw you enter every single restaurant you entered. Maybe I was there in behind the fake mustache. Not that I couldn't. I mean, I could just grow them. I could just grow one. I don't need a fake one. I just, you know what I mean. Like it's not that I couldn't. It's not that I couldn't grow one. It's more just, you know, I have a fake one It goes with the glasses, you know? You'd put on the glasses and the fake nose and the fake mustache. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Tomorrow I have a D&D session. Oh! With the level 20 squad. But there's only 2 of my players who could make, so I'm going easy on them and only... You can't! Don't do that! Let it be a shopping episode! No! You can't kill a pet! That's deplorable! Oh my god. So you don't have a mustache? No, I didn't say that. I said I could. You can wear a fake mustache over a real mustache too. Exactly, Tucker. Yeah, fake mustache over the real mustache. Mayhaps. Who knows, really? Who knows? It's all kind of up in the air. There's not, you know, I like to be loosey-goosey about these things. I don't think we need to have the most strict of rules and regulations when it comes to what may or may not be the decorum of what I do or do not wear upon my facial structures. You know, that seems irrelevant and conjecture and something else from a trial. I don't know. Your Honor, objection, relevance. Objection, relevance. Obliterated. That's right. I just won. Don't ask me how, but I just won the debate. One could say I'm a master. Never mind. Yeah. I have, you know, sometimes jokes, they come and you just can't tell them. You just can't tell them. That it would not be good for the imperial coffers. You know, it wouldn't be good. Wouldn't be good. I'd be arrested. Which, I mean, literally can't happen because I am the government, but you know, people, they get ideas sometimes. They get ideas. Anyway, though. Oh my god, I only now got the notif on my phone about stream. I'm telling you, things are just acting weird on Twitch today. Things are getting a little glitchy, a little odd in how they work out, you know? I told you it wasn't me. It wasn't anything to do with anything going on my end. I think you guys just ran into some technical difficulties, I'm telling you. I woke up to 250 pounds in my bank for what? Oh, money, right. I was like, what? What'd they do? Put a kettlebell in there? What do you mean? Like, they just put some weight plates in there? Like, what are you talking about? You mean, okay, you mean your money system, which is referred to as pounds, right? Pound sterling, yes. It's a shilling to park on the docks. Yes. My. Caleb, so, real talk though, is this the one with the level 20s or no? This sounds like one that you're running, which is probably separate from that, because you're a player in the level 20. You play an Aarakocra. So my guess is this is something separate. In which case, I am now intrigued as to what world you're running. Though I do think you have informed us about a little bit of it. I think, yes, you were asking how, oh, is this the party that's searching for the vampire? Is that what this one is? Or that's going back to the player's hometown, I should say. Is that what this one is? Apologies if I got that wrong, by the way. Yeah, that is how, we're explaining that, huh, Nav? We're explaining what? Gesundheit. Are you feeling okay, MJ? Are you feeling all right? You seem, I don't know, you just seem a little, out of sorts, you know? I'm only correcting my mistake, like, they have too many pets, and now it's not, and no, it's not the level 20. Okay, it's probably the one where they're searching for the vampire. And also, too many pets, there's no such thing, sir. There's no such thing. I felt so bad using my fast pass in Universal. There was a 3-hour queue and I walked through. And everyone was looking at me like, committed crime. Well, that's just your Britishness talking. Good sir, you committed the American dream. You used good old-fashioned capitalism to get past them pores, and then you got onto that Universal ride. Hell, you could have ran it twice before one of them could have ran it once. USA! Oh god, I love the feelings of capitalism. Anyway, hey man, that's what it's there for. That's what it's genuinely. That is what it's there for, man. You shouldn't feel bad about that. Oh my god. Did you see my Final Fantasy cosplay of you? I did in the fan art channel. I thought to at you. Yeah, you didn't at me, but I did see it. I put a little reaction on it. I tried to find locations that kind of looked like the Minecraft world. It was sick. It was so sick. Oh my god. I was gonna write about it, but then I was gonna like type something up and send it because I want to tell you how sick it is. But then I was like, nah, I'll wait till stream because then I also have to ask a cat. Why am I a cat? Why? Why do I got them ears? What's next? What's next? The maid dress? I don't think so, buckaroo. Gee willikers. My god. What part? You must have missed. You must have missed the Celeste stream, my friend. SMH my H. I'm the cat. It's just the cosplay. Fair, valid. Oh my god, I'm just giving you a hard time. Oh my god. Look over my glasses like a librarian face with a raised eyebrow emoji. Oh my god, we're getting so specific with the readouts on emojis. Oh my god, the reads, they're so specific. I didn't pay for it. I diabetic, get there. Well, I mean, that's even more reason to use it. That's not capitalism, that's equality. What do you mean? That's a valid thing to use. You shouldn't feel bad about that in the slightest. Oh my good gracious. Oliver, you're too kind-hearted. My god, it's probably a good thing to be that way, but still. You gotta be more like me. Be on your toxic arc, you know? You gotta see someone waiting in line for 3 hours, you look at them and you go, and then you keep on going. You go, out of my way, peasants. Je suis le roi. Je suis allé Je suis allé tout est mon. Je suis allons-y de le qu'est-ce le roller coaster? La roller coaster, l'amusement, le parc d'amusement. You just spit on them and speak French. That's what you do. That's 9 times out of 10. That's what I do. That's. Did I flinch and almost pause a stranger because they were standing in front of the elevator door? Yeah, I mean that's just good survival instincts at that point. That's just well-rated survival. I could help, but I won't. Why? They never want to teach the language. Wait. Oh man, I still get the TikTok of Macron being like, "You think I want to do this?" No. And I don't know. He said it makes me want to learn, like relearn French and get it better because I don't know. There's something about it's the smoothness that he glides through the words. I mean, he's literally stealing away rights, but at the same time, it sounds so fancy. It sounds so smooth and fancy. It's like butter. Oh my god. Oh my good gracious. Translating. I can focus on nap again. Translating what? Oh, the French that I was speaking? Oh, that's odd. I mean, you don't gotta live translate that. That's fine. I mean, kind of you to do so, but you don't gotta do live translate just when I speak French. It's very basic French anyway. It's not like I'll ever say anything super duper important en français. I don't really need it though. This guy in a wheelchair behind me, and I didn't feel like I should be in the same. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I can understand, like, to a degree. Obviously, it's not like I'm saying. Anyway, I can understand like that kind of a feeling, but I don't know, man. I don't think you should beat yourself up about it if you are. I think you're using the tools at your disposal. That's perfectly reasonable. Plus, who wants to wait 3 hours in a line for a Universal ride? You know? Man. And at the end of the day, you got to do some fun things, and that's what's really important. You got to enjoy your time and live, laugh, love. And if you ask any suburban mom in Wisconsin, that is the #1 thing you should be doing. Probably also, like, I don't know, maybe Michigan. I feel like they're less live, laugh, love in Michigan, though. I feel like I feel like it's a lot less, folksy. versus the Land of Cheese. I feel the Land of Cheese is just ever so slightly more folksy, you know? I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. It's gaslighting, but make it French. Exactly. Oh man, how does? 1 second. Now I need to listen to it. It's so good, Chad. It's so beautiful. I love every second of it. You've no idea. You've no idea. Oui, peut-être. No, I don't need it. There we go.
Ça me fait plaisir. Dites-le-nous. Non. Est-ce que vous pensez que j'aurais pas pu faire comme tant avant moi, mettre la poussière sous le tapis? Oui.
Oui. Peut-être. Oh my god. There's something about it! There's something about it. Maybe, you know, maybe I just like French a lot. I don't know. Maybe I just really like the language. But alas, I mean, that's why I took it over Spanish. I don't know. For me, I just really like French. Oui. Peut-être. Oh my god. Nothing I enjoy more than translating French. I know, right? It's just so enjoyable. Well, that's why I'm like, wow, it's really impressive that you're so dedicated. Oh god, there was a ride that had 500 minutes just after. Oh my god. Yeah, a guy named Napoleon. I mean, in fairness, it could be that I like Italian, you know, because Napoleon's technically, well, I mean, technically he's French, but he's from an, like, it was New French, you know what I mean? Like, so the island of Corsica, like, he was a French citizen. He was conquered, like, that island was conquered by the French Empire just before he was born. Like, literally the year before he was born, I'm pretty sure, is when Corsica gets brought into under control of Louis the 16th or 15th at the time. I think it's the 15th still in king at the time. Yeah, because it would have been 1768. Anyway, so like it's conquered right around then, and so he has a bit of an Italian accent to his French, and he actually was made fun of for it as a schoolboy quite a lot. He was bullied because his accent had an Italian twang to it, which, you know, I guess that's why they say you shouldn't bully people, because you don't know what they'll become. Like, you know, maybe you bully the guy and they grow up to like be the person at the DMV who's gonna sign off on your papers. Maybe they conquer most of Europe, you know. Potato who knows how that's gonna work out? Who's to say sometimes you just don't know. Maybe they're gonna be the ones that are gonna sign your bank loan. Maybe they're gonna lead an absolutely epic army movement over the Alps. Maybe they're gonna be the second person to do so. Who knows? Who knows? Don't care. It's a French nationalism. Oh my god. Told my grandparents about Napoleon Bonaparte. Let's go! Like just something, like anything in particular, or just about the man in general? Like, this was a man who exists. He existed for a good while. Did a lot of things while he was alive. Get this. Kind of famous. Inspired a Minecraft streamer. Who knows? You know what I mean? It'd be funny if that's all you led with. Like, you didn't go into any of the like actual, like, you weren't like talking about Austerlitz, you weren't talking about any of the campaigns, you weren't talking about his reforms, you weren't talking about the Napoleonic Code. No. Just he was a guy who inspired a Minecraft YouTuber. Who knew? That'd be kind of cool. They were impressed with my knowledge. Oh, let's go. So I must thank you, Nat, for my intro. Well, I am more than happy to pass such things along. I don't know if I've ever said this, actually. So, like, throughout, like, middle school into high school, I kind of, like, realized, you know, essays and papers gonna become more and more of a thing as time goes on. Who knew? So I kind of decided to make a split-second decision fairly early on in my, well, it wasn't quite an academic career, because, you know, it was just, like, I don't know, 12. But, I was 12, like, anyway, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna write a bunch of these. I'm gonna write them all about Napoleon Bonaparte, because I was obsessed at the time. I was really, who knew? homeboy was interesting. So anyway, I was very interested in the revolution, and I was very interested in France and the Enlightenment period and all these other things. You know, as all 12 to 14-year-olds are. You turn that age, your mind starts to wander things, you know. Like revolutionary governments, you know, lemon bees out there. Oh my God, how you doing, man? So, you know, as young boys are prone to do, you start to think about the development of the French Empire. You know, a casual thing. Oh, we're hearing the essay story again. How did we get here? Oh my God. Oh, if I told this one before? If I have, then I don't have to repeat it. I was just gonna say, yeah, I wrote a whole bunch of essays on basically the exact same guy, so that then I could, like, cycle them out with only a few edits every so often, and never really have to worry about it. Oh my God. You know, as one does, exactly, a casual Sunday, you know? Also, hi, Gamba, how you doing? I talk about Napoleon Bonaparte to my mother, then I remember that not only she is also French, but she is also history buff and obsession towards the Empire. She wasn't impressed with my knowledge. Oh, Mama, please, ma mère, please, s'il vous plaît, ma mère, s'il vous plaît. I don't know how to say what I was gonna say next. I still need. All of these are full of bees, by the way. These have sat here for months, and they are all still full of bees. They, like, each one has 3 bees in it. They have sat in that chest for a long time, waiting for me to build my I don't know, what's it called when a bee sanctuary? What's that like more specifically called? Just a fun place to be? Maybe. I need to put more coal into the furnaces, by the way, because that glass, I think, stopped smelting. So let's go do that. I was a young boy, I can confirm. We all go through the stage of development of the French. Exactly. Apiary, that's what it is. I knew it sounded like a grammatical system. Or not grammatical system, more like a citation system, which is APA. But, like, you know, who needs that one? Personally, I prefer Chicago. It's the only thing about that city I prefer, but I prefer that as my footnote system, namely because footnotes are far superior to in-text citations. I don't need the in-text citation. I need a footnote to tell me where to go. I do not need any sort of in-text. They're useless. They're grody. They're icky. Don't need them. Don't want them. You know, it's beautiful. A footnote. It's why Wikipedia uses them. You just go to the end if you want the full list, or in the margins of the footer, you'll see exactly what's cited from where. It's perfect. It's amazing. When I was a young boy, I studied Napoleon Bonaparte. This zombie's gonna round the corner. Let me sleep. Wow, he really just stopped, huh? He's just chilling. Oh, now there you go. Now you saw me. There you go. That took a minute. Oh, you got your blood and guts all over my bed. Why? Jeez, it sounds like we might have an infestation underneath us. Maybe I should deal with that. Actually, you know what? I wonder. What's an in-text citation? A citation that's in the text. Yeah, an in-text citation is a citation literally within the text. Like, for instance, if I was gonna cite, I don't know, who's an author? John Green, I guess. I don't know. It'd be like, as is made relevant in terms of the text. Green 2013 period would be what an in-text citation would be. and then and or potentially just green. Because you're citing the author, and then they got to go to the works cited list at the end of your paper, and they'll read there to find the author you're talking about. If you're citing multiple works from the same author or multiple people with the same last name, then you will need more signifiers and identifiers. But yeah. I knew it. I heard the movement, but I didn't hear any bones rattle. I didn't hear any ghouls. I knew it would be a creeper. I knew it would be. My God. New way to light up the basement. Let's go. New way to light up the basement. Oh yeah. We're learning. We're adapting. No, I need to get it up there. There we go. Those will light up eventually. I'm sure. Oh my God, a hydrate. Oh man, that doesn't look overly helpful. I mean, it's helpful in the sense that like it's just a certain system used. MLA and APA both use in-text citations, whereas yeah, a footnote is basically the exact same thing as is relevant in the text. It'd be like that with a period and then a 1, but the 1 would be much smaller. It would be like up here as a smaller thing. It would say 1, and then in the footer of that, it would then say, if it's the first time you're citing the work, it would then have the full title of the work and like the full citation in the end notes there, in the footer of that very page you're working. Or it would, if you've cited it before, it'll have a shortened version. So if I'm citing again from the same person, it would be green with the title of whatever the piece is. If it's a very like in the base bottom, it would be green John fault in our stars, or you could maybe just do fault in, and that would be in italics, fault in, and that can work as well sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it depends. It's finicky. It depends on the situation. But yeah. What about MLA format? Thoughts and opinions? I mean, it's not for me. Like, Chicago's my favorite. I think footnotes as a system is the superior system. Oh my God, another hydrate. Because for me, I want to be able to, I don't want it taken up at, like, it takes me out of a work. It takes me out of a work when I have to, what do you call it? It takes me out of a work when I have to see the like random author's name, which is part of the point of it. It's meant to take you out of the work. I'm so confused. What are footnotes? So a footnote, like an in-text citation, so you would have the same kind of sentence, like as made relevant in the text. So like that's like a part of a random sentence in an essay. After the period, you'd then have a footnote, which would be 1 or 2 or 3, whatever number of footnote you are on for whatever page you're on, kind of thing, in the chapter, kind of thing. And it just keeps going. And then that 1, which is put into superscript, so made much smaller, like it almost looks like it would be like a you know when you see like a number squared, and the squared is a much smaller 2. Looks like that. And then that number corresponds to something in the footer of the page that you're talking about. So then that page, in its footer underneath, the Wikipedia, the little numbers in Wikipedia. Like when you see at the end, I mean, what they do is technically not Chicago style, but theirs is like 1 or 2 or whatever at the end of a sentence, and it's in brackets like that. And then you click that and it brings you into their references. Take up page space, but footnotes take up page space, but all the garbo put all the grapho at the end of the essay. See, yeah, I don't mind that it takes up page space because like, that's the thing. Some people do mind that. For me, I don't mind if it takes up page space. I actually enjoy getting to see the works listed out and be like, oh, that's that work. Okay, perfect. That's where they're getting this from. Instead of just hearing the author's name and be like, what work did the author write about that in? You know what I mean? So it's as if, so is it like if there was a big word count, it can have a number, then at the end it explains the word? Yeah, I mean, it has that number, and that number corresponds to what it's actually citing from, and that's listed in your works cited at the end, as well as in the footnotes, and that way you can kind of see what resource is being used to cite whatever you're working on, if that makes sense. Oh my god, I meant to get coal to continue to smelt the glass. Oh, Chatters, you distracted me. You distracted me with footnote discussions. Tisk tisk. This will not stand, which is fine because I'm sitting. But either way. Oh my god, what? I don't think there is a single other streamer you could go to who's gonna have a 5-minute bit, not even a bit, like a 5 minutes to give to citation formats. Who talks about that? Oh, good god, this is not good stream content. Oh my god, I disagree with Neb completely. Well, that's okay, you can be wrong. You know, it's a free country, you can be wrong. I'm not gonna stop you. You're a special streamer now. I don't know if that's a compliment. I don't know if I just got I didn't get the call! Oh my god. I hate it here. I hate it here so much. You know what? Anytime you think of me, I hope you think of just a Bugs Bunny cartoon losing their mind, because that is me perpetually, I've decided. Great stream content. Oh yeah. we talk about French. We talk about the origins of Napoleon Bonaparte getting bullied in school, and we talk about footnotes. Wow. Streamer of the year. Call up Cutie Cinderella. Get me streamer of the year, my friends. It ought to go to me. Is it one of these? This one, perfect. I'm just gonna take that much. And then we should also take those and maybe those. And then, yeah, move right along like that. Perfect, perfect. You educate while entertain. I try. Oh my god. In fact, some people tell me I can be very trying. Don't know what they mean by that, but you know, I'm sure they just mean like I commit to things a lot, right? Oh my god. How would you deal with having a huge amount of viewers? You would have so many distractions. Well, good news is we're never gonna have to deal with that. The best. so that's the good news. I don't know. I feel like I just explode. I like to listen. I like to hear what people think too often, I think. I really do value the input of most everyone, because I think you can learn something new from anyone. But what that kind of ends up leaving as a result is that I always kind of feel like I want to hear everyone out, but that's probably not the best way to stream, per se. You know what I mean? It's probably not conducive to like a really concise stream. Can you? There we go. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm gonna sleep. Opinions on niche subject. I mean niche subject, my beloved, you know? Who doesn't love a good niche? A good niche, you know? Oh my god. Bricks. Why are bricks being made? Who's making bricks? Sweet Jesus of Christmas. We're making bricks! Why? Have you tried G Fuel? No, I have not. But if they wanted to sponsor me, boy howdy, I could tell a lot of people how great it is if it were great, if I were to have some, but I've never had it. Gee whiz, wish I did. Oh my god, G Fuel, wouldn't that be neat? I can advertise it to all of, I don't know, all the fives of people, you know? Oh my god. So I'd go on quietly. There's no quiet way to eat a world, Angel! But also, hi, Angel. How you doing? Oh my god. I got some in Florida, and it's somewhat decent. Oh! I mean, I've heard, yeah, it's just a lot of caffeine, ain't it? I'm pretty sure it's just a lot of caffeine. Not that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like that's what it is. I'm pretty sure that's like the main shindig with that. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna make a furnace right here. I'm gonna make one right here. You don't hear anything. I hear everything. I am. Never mind. I am powerful. That's what I'll say. That works. That's not gonna. No one's gonna be unhappy with that answer. My good gracious. We'll try it, Greg. But I mean, the reason I don't use the coal blocks is because it only takes 8 pieces of coal to smelt a full stack. 64 items are smelted with 8 pieces of coal. So 9 pieces of coal is unneeded. That's the reason that I break it down. Not because I don't think a coal block could do more value. I just think like you don't need. You're saving effectively 1.5 pieces of coal by not. You know what I mean? 80 items. Yeah, but I can only put 64 in, and 8 coal perfectly smelts 64. Because I would be like 5th one in a week. Oh my god, I've never had Oliver. Good lord, you've never had one before? Alright, those are smelting. Let's get some work done here. Let me chop down this little tree because it's just unimportant at this point. No one even needs it. No one even liked it to begin with, you know? It was deemed ugly and unnecessary. By me, specifically, not by like anyone else. It was just me. I thought it was ugly and unnecessary. Plus 2 charisma? Oh my god. You absolutely did. But if you're using a super smelter, you're putting a stack of items in each furnace. Coal block is better. I don't know. Seems like I'm gonna be losing out by using this full block of coal to smelt the same stack. I don't know. Because the super smelter's not always refilling. The super smelter is only refilling to the point that things are 64% full, and then I turn it off. Just live on water and Diet Coke. Oh my god. Oliver, you graduated from Diet Coke in terms of caffeine intake to G Fuel. G Fuel's the equivalent of like multiple cups of coffee. It's genuinely so much caffeine. Good lord. No wonder. I bet you can taste color. Oh my god. Oliver, you can't just randomly get started on a new regime of caffeine. I don't even drink coffee. Good lord, sir. Good lord. Oh my god. It's all going to hell in a handbasket. You know that? It's all going wrong. MJ, if you haven't learned by now that this is a do as I say and not as I do stream, my gosh, where have you been? I know what is healthy. I know what's the right thing to do. That doesn't mean that I gotta do it. That does mean that you gotta do it, though. See, you guys are more important in this whole situation. You guys are the viewers. That's way more important. So, in terms of that, I need to make sure that you guys are more healthy than I need to make sure that I'm healthy. I can get through anything. I'm a god amongst men. You guys, well, you know, who knows? Who knows? I know my stats. I don't know any of yours. So I gotta ensure that you guys know the healthy thing to do. And, oh. See, but Ray, a god would not have told me to place a bunch of copper in such a weird pattern. But there you were on Monday telling me to place copper in a very odd pattern of a grid. You know? But also hi, Ray. Why drink coffee when energy drink is better? Well, I mean, agree to disagree. Coffee is delicious and delectable, and I love it. So, you know, I kind of just enjoy coffee. I don't know, there's something about it. But, I mean, maybe that's because, you know, I worked in cafe and stuff like that. I don't know. But for me, I just like coffee. Speaking of, you know what's weird? So, I don't know how many of you have ever worked a customer service job that requires you to, at least in some capacity, see customers on a semi-regular basis. Specifically, in the food industry, because you tend to get regulars. One of the most fascinating things about that industry that nobody seems to ever talk about. No one ever pays much attention to the fact that you just end up making up stories for people. You know what I mean? You get a limited scope of what you're gonna know about this person. Okay, sure, they like caramel macchiatos. I know that. This person, they like oat milk. That's about as much as you're really gonna know. You're gonna know their order because they're a regular and they tend to order the same thing. And you might get a name, you might get a little bit of tidbits of information, but then you always just start randomly setting up your own story for them. You start playing with them like God himself. You start playing pretend. You start deciding what their life must be like. You're there, they come in every day, day after day, and you start being like, you have regulars at the pharmacy, but not because they want to be there. Oh my God. Even with that though, I imagine it must be like there was this one guy who would always come in. He was audacious in how he looked. He had like really long blonde hair, kind of in a ponytail all the time, and he always wore a blazer and a long scarf that he kind of had swirled around. It didn't matter if it was the dead of summer. It didn't matter if it was a heat wave. This man, without fail, he would be there with his little scarf, and he'd be ready to go. You know what I mean? I was like, good night, Greg. Hope you have a wonderful sleep, dude. We have regulars. Spencer, she's a friend with all the employees. She's great. Yeah, regulars can be great. Give you their life story unprompted. Oh my God. They come in every day though, and I made up this whole story. I decided, you know, I bet he's an art critic. You know, he goes around, he probably goes to the museum, and he goes there, and he goes to these art museums around the country, and when he's there, he's judging, always judging. And you know, I bet he's a big fan of Rococo. He's a big fan of romance revival in art, you know. And I just decide these things. I decide his name's Paul. I decide all the little things that I want about him. And you just play pretend. You just go, and you know what? I know where they're off to. And it's like people watching on steroids. Because you're adding stuff to this person that will never be true. But then it changes. There was times where like this isn't good, by the way. I treated people, not differently per se, but in the way where I was like, I liked them better because I'd made up a fake reality about them that made them seem cool and interesting. And there were customers who I was like, I just genuinely was happier to serve. I mean, I served them all equally. but I was genuinely happier to serve them because of the absolutely fictitious story I made up in my own head about them. Where I was like, I bet this is what they do for a career. I bet this is who they know. I bet they're off to a party with a charcuterie board. I bet they're off to do this. I bet that every day they go work in a soup kitchen. I bet, all these little things. Oh my god. She comes in just to talk with us, not to buy anything usually. Hey, fair enough, Oh my god. I'm having the most, screen addict moment. I'm watching Nap on my phone, following 4 YouTube videos on my PC, and writing some lore on a second Oh my sweet lord. Mans is out here, ready. He's absolutely fighting through it. I think that might be an overactive imagination. No, that's not possible. Me? Overactive imagination? You sound like every single one of my elementary school teachers who just constantly every report card back was, well, you see, Nap got a lot of trouble with organization. He's creative. Very creative. Maybe too creative sometimes, talks too much to random people. He's distracting his classmates, and I was like, I'm not distracting them. Oh man, like just little thing, like has trouble. Like, listen, I when I wanted to think, I would get up and go to the pen. Like, they made us use pencils, so we'd get up to use a pencil sharpener. They had this pencil sharpener on the wall, and it was a nice little walk. I mean, was it across the class? Yes, but I wasn't getting up to disrupt anybody. I needed the walk to think. I don't know, it worked better that way. And so I was just like, hey, what's the problem, teach? But they didn't like that. They didn't like that one bit. They actually were pretty perturbed by the idea that I wanted to ever leave that little chair. I don't know why. It kind of sucked to just stay confined to a chair. Oh my god. Nap, this is the most relatable thing you ever said. Thanks. Oh my god. I don't know, man. I just always had like report cards were always the main problem was always like he seems distracted in class all the time. He seems he talks too much. He's too creative. Oh man. Too creative did not sit well with certain folks. They were not happy. But alas, yeah, I don't know, class is boring and you're not saying anything worth me remembering, so maybe let me go to the washroom. Let me go. Hey, teach, I gotta go to the toilet. Bye-bye. Let me go. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe not actually, and I'm just gonna go wander around the school for a bit, but when I come back, I will pay more attention. So maybe leave me be. It's a process. I'm a method actor. It's my process, Oh, well. How can one be too creative? I know, that's what I thought. I was like, what do you mean too creative? It was very mixed messaging because they constantly talked about, I do remember actually in the 3rd grade, my teacher was talking about like a creative it was like an art project for class. And they were like, and we want you to be creative. They were very, very enthusiastic about people getting involved with being creative. And they stopped mid-sentence to turn to me. And they said, except Nap, maybe just stay at your regular levels. Maybe we don't need you to get too creative. And I was like, what does that mean? I was all of like, I don't know, however old you are in grade 3. So like, you didn't need to stop the class. That's so mean. Yeah, teachers can be mean sometimes. I like teachers, don't get me wrong. I will always support teachers writ large because it's bad random teachers, not teachers as a whole. But my god. I mean, it was the same teacher who kind of at one point said that, well, never mind what they said to me, but they brought me out of class, had some choice words for where they thought I was going in life. That's all. And c'est la vie, man. That was their prerogative. They probably shouldn't have said that to a kid, but I was too creative, so alas. Alas, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Oh man. Ah well. Can't win them all. Well, I guess you could, but it wouldn't be really fun. It wouldn't be that much fun if you won them all. You know what I mean? In 3rd grade, yeah, it was a bit much, but you know, say la vie. It happens. To move in class so I could concentrate, I said to my teacher, they seem to always stop me and other. Oh, I mean, honestly, good for you. Good, good for you. You use the card at your disposal. Oh my god. If it means you get to actually learn how you need to, then perfect, man. You know what's always wild to me that every teacher ends up doing? And it's the exact opposite of how it really is. Every teacher will tell you constantly. They'll tell you constantly. Nap, this isn't gonna fly in whatever grade. Nap, this isn't gonna fly once you get to middle school. Nap, this isn't gonna fly in high school. This kind of behavior, it's not gonna fly once you get to college. And I was like, okay. Every single time a teacher has told me that, guess what? It's always flown more. It's in fact been just easier going. Always. Every subsequent teacher gets more laid back about it. I don't know what you mean, man. It's like the hat rules. You know how like, no, I don't even wear hats to be honest, but it's like hat rules in school where they're like, no hats. It's all, I don't know, it's power trip for some people, you know what I mean? Alas. Shay Lovey flies more than the sun. Exactly, man. Like, it only gets easier as you get on, because like your teachers and then your professors and stuff like that are just like, oh, okay. Like, they just see you as a human being. And versus like the goblin to be controlled that you are seen as at a younger age. I don't know, it's a weird little thing. A massive... It's true, I might be hiding a full M4 Sherman tank underneath a baseball cap. It could happen! One of these days, you never know, you know? You never know what's gonna be underneath that head. Take them off so you can't hide... Exactly. Oh, man. Oh god, not the accent attempt. Oh, sweet Jesus, sad cowboy, how'd I see that coming? Oh, jeez. Well, I guess for the next 5 minutes, we're gonna be sad cowboy time. But yeah, alas, I moseyed my way on occasion to the principal's office, and they weren't too fond of me. But at the end of the day, who cares? They're like, this is gonna go on your permanent record. I said, good, I hope it does. Because that really doesn't matter. I don't know why cartoons make it seem like it's gonna be the most important thing in your life. But let me tell you, chatters, permanent record means bubkiss. It don't mean nothing. Oh, well, maybe if I go up the mountain with my pots and pans, I can find some gold. But probably not. I don't know why the cowboy's becoming more of a prospector. Alas. Oh my god, I finished one of the YouTube videos. Oh, sweet gee. You know what YouTube video you could also finish again? Well, gee willikers, I'm glad you asked. Because, chatters, let me tell you, there's a YouTube video on the YouTube channel for Napoleon VII that's pretty neato. Could be worth a second watch. Are them there skeletons at it again down there? Ah, jeez. Listen, mister, you gotta clear out. You can't be here. This here is private property. It's still playing, but I lost the flow. Oh, no. But oh well. But no, what I meant earlier was just, you know, the sheer fact that on occasion when you're working in that industry is that you'll make up these stories for these fellas, and some of them find it weird. I remember some people, I started to remember their order and then I prepped it for one day I prepped the order in advance for a man. He'd been coming in for about 4 months getting the exact same thing every time, and it was always during my shift. Like I was opening, I was always there. It was always me handing it to him. Not that I expected him to remember me per se, but then I handed it to him and that he got right bit angry about the fact that I remembered his order and knew who he was. He seemed might be pissed off, if I'm to be so candid, pardon my French. He seemed real ticked. PO'd if you'd prefer. Turns out, he thought I was now watching him and he never came back again. Weird fellow, that guy. Weird fellow. He would always get an Americano, but he wanted 2 ice cubes in it and a side of milk. I don't know why, but that was his order every time. On occasion, he'd get a bran muffin with it, but that was about it. Dunjad, how do on this fine day? Me? I'm doing not so well. No, I'm doing fine. I just gotta sound like a sad cowboy for the next 1 minute and 58 seconds. Oh yeah, remember that appointment I canceled? Oh, so I had to schedule and I was because the call was scheduled. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Ray. That sucks. Genuinely, like it genuinely does. I'm sorry, especially when it can take some time to work it up to do that. So that's rough, man. But hey, you did it once. All right, that means you can do it again. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying, you can at least be confident in the fact that you're able to do it. Oh man. Sad Cowboy is my mood for the day as well. I've been reading there Anna Karenina, struggling with it and doing my research paper on Tolstoy. Oh, jeez. And I slept through it. No, jeez. Well, Mello, hello there. Thank God. Oh my God. Hello there. Welcome to stream. Alas, you slept a little bit, but say la vie, you know? I'm sure you didn't miss much. Might be a little something, but I think Chad experienced a little bit of a glitch was all that. That's nothing too major. Oh my God. See, I do like 5 minutes of it, and then it just kind of sticks for the next little while. It becomes a thing. I'm not a slut boy! Slut boy. Alright, so that's I'm gonna go build a chest over by where I need it to be. Oh my sweet Jesus. Yes you are. No, I'm not getting. My God. This doesn't prove anything. Ugh. Why? Why? Oh my God. I have to read a book. Have any of you ever heard of a book called They Both Die in the End? It's by a Silvia, I think, or Silvera, I want to say. It's like a young adult fiction novel. It only came out a few years ago. You're being made to read that? Yeah, it's part of it's part of a course. It's part of a study in LGBT and gender-based literature of the 21st century. Got a lot of different books I gotta read for it. Where is... Oh no, I was just gonna make a double chest. That's what I was gonna do. So where's some wood? I was studying a course. Yeah. Well, yeah. courses can be pretty specific. Some are quite broad. Some are more specific. Like it just sounded interesting enough, and it'll give me credits towards English. So I was like, well, why not? It also counts against media literacy, so that's kind of important. Remember nothing. It's a fine book. Just never imagine being made to read. But with the specific of a course, yes, that makes sense. Yeah, it's more just like an examination of that development, and then it's compared and contrast in class to similar literature from the 1950s to the year 2000, with the idea being that we'll learn what we'll learn from this stuff, and then the professor can contrast it with some earlier work, and then we kind of suss out from there. Oh my god. Yeah, okay. Gee whiz, I wondered, because, the title wasn't very clear. Well, actually, I don't even know if they do, with a title like that, I do wonder if it's, like, literal or not. I have no idea. See, but yeah, and I don't know, I apparently it was popular to an extent. I'm not too personally familiar with it, but and don't take this the wrong way, I'm asking because based on the my knowledge of the book so far, it sounds like the kind of book that you that some people here might have heard of or read, and so that is perchance why I'm asking. That's all. Just, it seemed like maybe that could be the case, Okay, perfect. This is gonna be where I'm gonna put this double chest for the glass. Then I'm gonna go get a bunch of the glass, and I'm also gonna get some more wood stuff, and then we're gonna get chopping. That's gonna be important. The vampires took my tonsils this time, not my butt. Are you okay? Good lord. Because we're listen. It's decently fine. Oh, okay, cool. Some people love it. I think it's alright. See, that's the thing. We're like, I don't think anything is being barred in terms of like its quote unquote quality. So like some of the stuff that we've had to look through has been intentionally not good quality, particularly so that we get an understanding of a range and a spectrum of material within that genre. But yeah. One time I wrote a paper about The Great Gatsby was queer and the main character was gay. I pined for Gatsby and cited my sources and everything, and my teacher was like, no, and I wasn't happy. Well, your teacher's an idiot, because that is like a genuine, like relatively mainstream, not mainstream, I shouldn't say that, but like it's a fairly mainstream literary take for that book as in the last like couple decades. Like that's not an out of the realm of reason. Like there's whole camps in the discussion of that book who are firmly are in favor of that at like an academic level. So that's really weird that they would take a stance like, no. It feels personal at that point. Jeez. I should get them taken out. Oh my good gracious. Well, that still doesn't sound good. Also, yeah, I don't know. Gatsby's it's decent. It's alright. I have my problems with it, but I have my problems with lots of things, It's not specifically Gatsby that I have the problem with per se. It is rather just that like I don't know. I at times wonder if maybe Mr. Fitzgerald didn't write a classic. Oh well. Don't get me wrong, it's good. I just think it's contrived at times. Personally, I enjoy it well enough. I think there's a few parts in it, like for instance, the moment of like, you can't change the past, Gatsby. Of course I can, old sport. Like lines like that are great. I do think it's a very good what's the word? A dialogue book. Like I feel like the lines are very well, they're definitely not things that people say, in my opinion. It's not very good dialogue in the sense of you're like, oh, people say these things. It's very Shakespearean, I think, in its dialogue. It's not like I quaff that thine shall do, blah. But it's more just like lines are meant to, it could be taken entirely as they are and read very well. You know what I mean? Everything just reads and sounds great in that book, in that world. Yeah, let me just get some more of these going. None of these are useful to me. None of these are useful to me. Can you give me something, please? I am begging you, please. Something, anything, please. Please, something, anything. A mushroom, thank you. Good googly moogly. Should not have been that difficult. My God. The sheer lack of mushrooms it is providing me today. It's as though the world is against me. It's, you know, my world's on fire. How about yours? My friend asked me about the hyperfixation that was lasted for 4 years and still ongoing. He's gonna lose his mind because oh my God. Nick also goes home with a guy from a party and is naked in his bed. Well, you know, it's just, you know, that's just guys being dudes. What do you mean? That's very... people just do that, you know? That's just what you do with the homies. That's just how it be, man. Can't fault them for that. Can't... How is that red? I didn't even know red could grow on these. I presume that could only happen on the red version of this kind of a thing. What? It's allowed? How rare is it that it would grow red? That must be a pretty rare gen. Slowly eats chat. No. I enjoyed Gatsby. It was one of the, no, I read that. The Great Gatsby isn't that good. However, I love it so much. Oh, and that's a perfectly valid take. I mean, that's the same, like, you know, it's the same, like the Earth. How is this possible? It's like the early Percy Jackson books, I would argue, I know, yeah, Percy Jackson. I would, you know, I'd say, yeah, they aren't, like, stupendously written. And there's lots of, like, the whole bit about the dam, is certainly, like, cheesy, but, like, I think it's in the best of ways, you know what I mean? In the same way, like books don't have to, like, not everything has to be, like, the most alluring artistic endeavor of the 21st century. My God, he's done it again. Like, you know, things can just be, and that's fine, and that's good, actually. I like when things just are, and you don't have to worry about it being perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah, what? What do you mean, arguably? Yeah. I read Gatsby, but honestly remember nothing, which is, my opinion, is kind of all I need to remember. If you can't recall anything, was it even a good book? I mean, I will say, I'm a big fan of multiple reads for books to determine whether or not, like, how much I do or don't like them, per se. But I'm also fine with, you know, abandoning books at times as well. I read Gatsby too, but also don't remember anything about it except the car, maybe. Or that is part of it. I think it also depends on the context you read it in. Like, if you read it for school, I think it's a lot easier to forget it than if you read it for pleasure. And what I mean by that is, like, additionally, is also, like, is the same way, there's a lot of people who just straight up don't like Catcher in the Rye. Catcher in the Rye is one of my favorite books. I think it's a beautiful book, like, in general. There's so much about it, right down to its author, who, while complicated as a man, I find to be incredibly interesting. Yo, peace, dude, what's up, man? So, like, he's complicated, but like, at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people who hate it simply because they read it in school, and often were the age of Holden Caulfield when they read it. And that can lead to a presumption, or this feeling that it's not good. You know what I mean? Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then 2 mushrooms for the road. Gabagool. All right, let's go pick up some glass. This is awful, and I adore it to this day. It's not awful. I'm doing epic. Yo, very epic. Yeah, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Do myself some TMA wallpaper. Yo, I don't know what TMA means, but pog. Now I have cool wallpapers. I mean, that's the important bit. Nothing I've read. I have a bad memory. Makes reading so much better. Oh my god, or rereading so much better. Fair? Valid? Wait, can I always forget how to like take it. Like there is a way to make like just all of a certain type of thing just go into your inventory, and I forget the button combo for it. It's macroed in. I just don't know what it is off the top of my head. Me and my friends had a joke that one of our friends only read The Great Gatsby. They always seem to be rereading it and turned out into all of us actually loving it. I mean, that's kind of sick. That's a great bit. The Magnus Archives. It's a horror podcast. Me and Pink were screaming about it. Yo. Oh, I feel like I remember you two talking about it in chat before as well. Now that I think about it. I don't know too much about it, but I do feel like I recall you guys like speaking about it. I'm gonna be Frank. Okay, Frank. What do you got for me? It's been 3 months since I last read Dune. I don't think I'll finish it, which means makes me feel bad because I got the first 3 Christmas year ago. Oh my god. I mean, I don't know. I think it's fun. Like that's the thing. I think if a book, like just because Dune can be interesting to some people, I don't like if it doesn't speak to you. Like if it's something that you're not enjoying, then I don't know. I don't believe in forcing yourself to read something that you're not enjoying. You know what I mean? It's okay to abandon books. If it's not clicking, and it's been like that long, you're not really clicking with it, then you're not clicking with it. And that's fine. There's lots of books that I've just been kind of like, I throw away. Well, not throw away. You know what I mean? Like I just go like, all right, it's not for me. And I let it go. You should listen to a really good. It's a horror thing, isn't it? I don't really don't know if you know this about me, Bees, but I don't really do the whole horror thing too well. It's kind of one of those things that I'm not really fond of per se. I don't know if I look upon it too fondly for a variety of reasons. You know, it's just one of those things. How was he alive this whole time? Oh, he just came out of a cave, didn't he? I was like, it is not just freshly daytime. How did that zombie live that whole little while, and then he just randomly died? But no, I think he was just in a cave prior to this. You know what I mean? I've been meaning to go back to Hitchhiker's Guide for ages. Love that series. It's not incredibly dense as Dune. Yeah, Dune's definitely one of those books where it's like, you gotta be in the mood for like a tone. Personally, I think Dune benefits best from things like an audiobook. I really do. Like, don't get me wrong. I think there's nothing cheating about an audiobook. I really don't. I know there's people who are like, oh, that's not really reading. I'm like, okay, I guess, sure, whatever, man. Because I'm not gonna fight anybody on it. But at the end of the day, I think you're just you're just causing less people to know books. If like less people know or hear about books because you decided to be like, no, that doesn't count, and you should feel bad if that's what you used. You know what I mean? Dragon Core, dude, what's up, man? Sorry for being a bit late to stream. No worries, dude, but I'm here now. I might be here for a few minutes at least. Hey, yo, well, Pog, man, how you been? But it's so good. No, I don't know, man. Spooky, not good for Napoleon. Though then again, the current sub goal is in fact for me to play Alien Isolation, so you know, who knows? Not sure how I feel about that one, but we're slowly making our way through the month, so my hope is we just, ignore that one, but you know. Spooky doesn't really mix with you, boy. I'm off my rocker on payment. I need to be told things more clearly. Oh my good gracious. Mellow, there is lore in the Ages Empire channel of the server. There's 2 clips and images I have translated. Well, why would you be translating? That'd be weird. Why would there be something to translate? That makes no sense. Oh, right, the French. Of course, when I was speaking French, that must be it. That must be it. Nothing else would really make all that much sense, you know? It'd be silly to be anything else, you know? It'd just be silly. The silliest of billies. Yum. Alright, and then we gotta set this down here, set it here, got a ghoul. Perfect. Come here. Where is it? Is it okay, whatever. Oh, it fell that way. I'm an idiot. Sometimes I feel like I need Nap to English translator. You know what? That's valid. That's valid. I've been told, though I don't know how true this really is, that I can be at times a little all over the place and difficult to follow. I don't know how true that really is, but you know, some people feel that way at the very least. It's the same way you get a lot of comments of like, hey, stop speaking so fast. Hey, come on, please, for the love of God, I can't understand you. Hey, please stop, just for the love of God. I have a wife and kids. Things happen. It was the 90s, Anyway. Thought I had a bed here. Doot, 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 doot. What do you mean, MJ? Why do you think the Berlin Wall came down? It's because of me. I caused that. It was me. It was me. I'm the reason that the Soviet Union collapsed. I don't mean to. I know people don't like to point fingers, but it's okay. I know it was me. Oh. I'm simply too fast. I'm just too good, really. Slash a J. Nah, I believe it, man. People need to listen. They need to dial their ears up, man. It's not my fault that they are not going as fast as I am. Keep up, all right? Keep up, me bucko. It's like, what do you want me to do about it? Not my fault that you're a slow listener. That's on you, pal. Why? He died! Oh no! His helmet! Ah, jeez! 1,003 years old, remember? Exactly. Conclusion, we're just better than everyone. So true, Kick. So true. Is the Berlin Wall to fall canon? Oh my god. It's true. It is canon. I caused the fall of the Berlin Wall. No one likes to admit it. No one likes to admit it because, they're too polite. They're too polite. They don't want to point fingers. But it's fine. It's fine. I hold no grudges. I would never, I would never hold a grudge over such a thing. That would be silly. That'd be foolish, It'd just be goofy at that point, and not the dog cow person, which it's always been a little unclear to me why. Like I've met people who seem to think Goofy's meant to be a cow. I don't know how true that is, but like, I get where they're coming from in the sense, like, his canonical, like, I don't know, girlfriend or whatever was Clarabelle the cow, and so they're like, oh, so he's a cow. But I'm like, why would he be? He's clearly a dog. They're like, no, Pluto's a dog. Goofy is a cow, and the reason he's a cow is because, you know, Mickey and Minnie Mouse, Donald and Daisy Duck, and, you know, Goofy and Clarabelle cow. And I was like, oh, that one. I don't mean to be a dissenter, but I don't know about that one, Chief. That one sounds a bit, you know, sounds a bit out there. Sounds like you're a bit out to lunch. Sounds like you've been maybe enjoying too much of the Goof Troop lately, you know? Maybe you need to take some time off. Maybe you need some time to recover. I have a nap quote book. Let's go! I'm so happy. If you ever listen to me and anything, listen to this. Start a quote book. Silly things your friends say. Best choice you've ever made. Oh yeah, I have a quote book for 3 of my friends. It's fantastic. I love just going through it on occasion. I just read through it and I go, awesome. Like, oh man, one second. I'm gonna. You know, I don't even need to. I still remember. It's a quote of. So many red flags. You're starting to so you after so many red flags, you're trying to restart the Soviet Union. They didn't like my observation on that one, I don't think. But you know, c'est la vie. They were getting involved with the wrong people, and I needed to let them know. Play that funky music. Perfect. Amazing, astounding, and stupendous. Did that go really tall or no? It didn't. I mean, it kind of did, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second. We're gonna make a second one. We're gonna make another one over here because I want one of the really tall ones. That wasn't even tall. They used so much bone meal. Why? Oh my god. He's goofing, he's gunking, he's all over the place. Your Goofy's name used to be Dippy Dog. Get owned, loser. What? Oh my god. Oh wait, I don't know why I thought both of those were said by Ray. I thought Ray said Goofy's name used to be Dippy Dog. Get owned, loser. I was like, what? What? I thought Ray just came out swinging. I mean, it's possible. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't think Ray would. It's just I was taken aback. I was like, why? What did I do? Oh, but I'm gooping. I'm gunking. I'm slip sliding around. My god. Remember, chatters. Be goopy whenever you can. Goop, but not the Gwyneth Paltrow type. That's something different. Don't worry about that stuff. That's not relevant. That's irrelevant. Don't worry about that. That goop, not important. How dare you? How dare you come to my place of work and in such shiny golden pants? What do you think this is, Serbia? Jesus. Wasn't even nice. Was it? Oh, that actually is kind of nice. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Oh, I got a set. Nice. Got a nice little set. Get on the. Oh my god. Woke up and chose violence. Oh my god. Nep wasn't saying he was a cow. How are we owning that? That's what I'm saying, Mel. I was like, yeah, there were people who thought, and I was like, no, that's not the case. But there were people who was like, nah, he's Clarabelle Cow. It's gotta be Goofy the cow. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. No, that's not how that works. Funny enough, you know. I know it might seem crazy. Seem a little crazy, but you know, it's just not exactly the case. Alrighty. You know what? I'm not gonna bother with it. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. 1 second. 1 second. We're gonna be so powerful in a second. We're gonna be so cool and awesome and poggers. Let me just gather all this. Let me just gather all this up first. It's so important to gather. Oh, not the hydrate! Come on! I've never been so awake. It's late. Oh my god, Bees, what happened? Why are you so awake? Bees is out here just like, my god, I can see the universe. Are you like Oliver? Did you have a bunch of G Fuel? I assume Oliver tuckered himself out with the G Fuel. I assume he had a caffeine crash. That's my only guess. Poor little guy. Oh my god. Bow, bow. In the very I was really tired. Then I started I read that as I almost started drawing. I don't know why. I read that as I almost started drawing. I've never been this awake. And I was like, huh? What's got you all so awake? Because I thought you were saying you were almost drawing because you were awake. Wait, I'm sorry, what? What do you mean, the Reject Town? Is there a canonical Mickey Mouse Reject Town? That's hilarious. I mean, deeply sad, but hilarious all the same. Oh my lord, there's no way. There's no shot there's a canonical Reject Town. Surely not for the happiest place on earth. No, could never be. It's simply, that's not possible. They would never do such a thing. They would never make a canonical Reject Town. That would be insane. They would be bonkers for that one. What is it? The Island of Misfit Toys? What do you mean? What do you mean, yeah? You're saying yeah so nonchalantly. As though this is like, yeah, of course. Ah! Of course there is. I can't believe I fell there. And I didn't bring a bed back. No! There's a whole game about Epic Mickey. There's a whole game about Mickey being epic? Why? Is there like a Mickey Mouse game that I just don't know? This isn't like Kingdom Hearts, is it? Like I know there's Kingdom Hearts. Is that what you mean? Is that what we're talking about here? Because that's I know that game has like Disney characters in it somehow, even though I've never really understood why. But you know, I know that one does. Is that what are we discussing that? Isn't that every game Mickey is in? Oh. I mean, he has a wife and kid in an extremely goofy movie. Yeah, but I've never seen that movie. How am I to know? All I know is that he has a kid and he goes, oh, Max. Like, that's all I know. like, I just know that he goes, gee golly gosh, let me go to college with my kid. Like, that's all I know about him. You think I know much of the deep lore of the Mickey Mouse universe? All I know is hot diggity dog. That's it. There's nothing else to know. No one said that, oh, by the way, there's deep lore to this whole thing, and you better be prepared for it. I mean, really, what's a dame to do, man? What am I meant to do in this situation? All I know is Minnie's dance from the hot dog, diggity dog, hot dog. Don't touch me. Don't blow up near me. Don't be rude. Hi, Charles. I don't know if that's your name actually, but hi, Charles. His name's Charles. I've decided in this moment. If he had a different name earlier, that's not my fault. I forgot. Can't remember every dead horse's name. That's like beating a dead horse. Dame, yeah. Truly, what is a gal to do? Yeah, exactly. What's a gal to do? What do you mean? What's what? Scholastic Book Fair. I bought a book about it. Those games are Disney because Square Enix and Disney shared a building at the time, and the game's producing pitched the game in an elevator to a Disney exec. Huh? That's pretty epic. That's true. It is pretty epic. Wow, Nap is making puns that are just as bad as mine. Excuse me, they're worse. How dare you? First of all, the puns are worse. Second of all, who cares? C'est la vie, you know? It's the way things are. I ain't complaining about it. How dare I have the worst pun? No, I meant mine are worse. Oh my god. Oh, you're saying how dare, comma, I have the worst puns. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. You see, I misunderstood on account of the lack of grammar. Imagine if I was just that petty about it. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you. Your grammar was wrong. What are you doing? Eating grandma? Like I'm gonna start laughing like Grover Cleveland. No one's gonna be able to stop me either. No one's gonna stop me. I'll be too powerful. You just simply will be unable to stop me. I need to make another one of those. You kidding me? There's not even a chunk of wood anyways? Nowhere's to be found? Okay, cool. I love it here. God, this place sucks. Nothing there either. Are you kidding me? Where's the nearest tree? I gotta go chop it down. Forget Grover Cleveland. I'm gonna be George Washington. So Disney Epic Mickey in the game, all about forgotten Disney character. Mickey finds a magic map, and when he finds it, he accidentally spills paint thinner all over it, and then got transported there to wrong what he had done to this world of people he left behind. Oh, that sounds tragic and sad, because I highly doubt that any of those characters actually do, beyond this game, come back into relevancy. I tell the joke as everyone in the room sigh with disappointment. A very valid goal, you know? A very... What's the word I'm looking for? Noble. A noble goal, you know? No one can fault you for that one. No one can fault you for that one. This is my machine. This is my bone meal machine. Do you like it? Do you like my bone meal machine? It's nice, right? Simple. easy to use, very aerodynamic. I like it. Personally, I think it's a good design. And while it runs, I'm gonna go feed some cows. And there's nothing that nobody can do about it. I gotta get the wheat first to feed the cows in case that part wasn't clear. In case you thought I just absolutely forgot my train of thought so quickly that I was like, I'm gonna go feed some cows, and then I started harvesting wheat. I need the wheat to feed the cows. If that wasn't self-explanatory, you know? I thought it might be, but you never know. You never know. And I didn't want people getting the wrong idea or the wrong impression about it. So yeah, you understand. Of course you understand. If anyone's gonna understand, Chatters, it's you. You guys get it. You know, you guys understand. You just get me, Chatters. Ah, jeez. Oswald's the villain? Huh? Why is he the villain? Oh, is he just that pissed at Mickey? Is he like, you did this to me, Mortimer! You! Mortimer Mouse, I condemn you to the 7th circle of hell! Damn you, Jackal! Damn you right to hell! I'll see you there, Jackal! Oh, sorry, I said Daniel Jackal. I meant Daniel Hyde. Oh, my bad. How's a man meant to make a reference anymore? Hello. Why were you alone over here? He's special. He's different. Get away from him. Get away from him! What is it about him? What is it about him? Nothing, absolutely nothing. They're all the exact same. I don't know why I thought any different. My God, they're all the same. Gray sheep, yeah, it just hangs out in there. I think he thinks he's hiding. I know he's there, but you know, I'm not gonna ruin his fun. Everyone behind it didn't care about what would happen to them. I mean, that's just valid and fair. Mickey did. What's Mickey's argument? What's Mickey's argument in all of this, huh? Like, no, I didn't, because he did. He did actually. He did exactly that. So, turns out Mickey just is the villain. Oswald's not wrong in that assessment. Woof. That's rough, pal, but that's just true. It's just true. It's just true. What more do you want? What more do you want? There's nothing else to do. Peanut, the horse is here. Peanut, the horse is here. Jeez. You hush. You stay in there. Some people never leave you alone. They always want a moment of your time, and they don't give you anything for it either. They're just grubbing for your time. They're jubbing for it, you know. They're jubbing for a good meal right now. They're really jubbing for it. To all my chucklers out there, all the. Oh my God. Oh, Mickey's like, actually, I'm baby. Then the giant blob of paint thinner is gonna kill everyone. What do you mean Mickey Mouse says, actually, I'm baby? In what way? I mean, the dude is living in the reject town. The politician doesn't even bother lying about not caring about it. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. Oh my god. You guys realize that's not a defense that'll hold up in court, right? You realize you don't get to go to court and just be like, Your Honor, please, Your Honor, I'm motioning for injunction. Yes, counsel. What can I help you with? Your Honor, clearly my client is baby. How can you hold him accountable for any of those actions when clearly my client is baby? So true, King. So true. Motion adjourned. He's free. He's free to go. He's fine. He's great. Ah! Why? Your Honor, my client has been baby since 1902. You must understand. Wow. I mean, arguably that does work for the oil companies, so like, yeah. I guess it's not totally out of the realm of possibility. Oswald lives on the giant pile of forgotten Mickey Mouse merch that keeps What? What do you mean? Oh my god. I wish that was part of court. No, you don't. No, believe me, the rightful carriage of justice is far more important than the meme of being able to say, what do you mean? I know a lot about this game. Oh my god. Let me get my book. What do you mean? Allow me to get my book, and then we'll really get into it. I mean, genuinely, how have I never heard of this game? Wait. I'm gonna make a prediction. Is it a Wii U game? Is it a Wii U game? Perchance. Is it a Wii U exclusive? If so, that would explain some things. If not, I don't even know where we are anymore. I don't understand a thing. I don't understand a word. Production and design of this game, never touched a Wii U in my life. So true, King. Is this game forgotten along all the characters? Ooh. No, it's for the original Wii. What? Tiger, are you aware of this game? Is this just something that passed under my radar at the time? Was I too busy on my Wii playing Call of Duty? I fell. I don't know why the most minor of falls takes just everything out of me and I just go, but I do, and I have no control over it. It is an absolute, like, guttural response to the issue. It's nothing to do with the actual fall. It's like, I'll fall, like, we'll fall someday in the nether 1,000 blocks straight to lava, and I'll go, and it's just the noise I'll make. I'll sound like one of those, like, you know, those, like, tubes? They're like, you know which ones I mean? Does that make sense? I just sound insane there, I'm pretty sure, but you know what surely someone knows what I mean. Surely somebody knows what I mean by that. Moo tubes, is that what they're called? Wondrous. Moo tubes, grown tubes. Who knows, man? YouTube. Oh, how very droll. Oh my god. My wit and witticism knows no bounds. Dear Lord. I am shocked you could do that well. Thank you. I make noises. That is 90% of stream is me making noises. So you know, I'm decent at it. I make it a noise comes out. I go every day, you know. I make it a noise. I get a laugh, and then I repeat the process. That is my whole life. Professional noisemaker. Well, you know, I have some teachers who would agree with that. They would agree with such a title to be bestowed upon me. Professional noisemaker, indeed. You know what? I'm actually gonna leave this just to see if it like will raise up to it with the next one, just because there's like something up there already. Bap, 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 bap. Up. Nope, not really. Oh well. Was worth a shot! Today's disgusting. I used to sit and read the Epic Mickey design book cover to cover, then restart, and then cover to cover, then restart again. I was obsessed in like the 5th grade. I mean, valid, man. That, honestly, there's quite literally not a better use of your time in the 5th grade. That, like, /gen. Oh my god. What is that tree? Why is it like that? Don't worry about it. It's living its best life. Don't judge him. Don't judge him. He was living. He was enjoying himself. He was enjoying the finer things in life. Bah. Oh man. Oh Nap, I forgot the coolest part. You deal with robot copies Oswald made of Mickey, friends to feel like he wasn't a bit. You said the coolest part, and that actually just sounds like the saddest thing in the world. Yo! Barnegat! Dude! Long time no see! I'll do. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back. Hope life's been treating you well. Oh my good gracious! How do? How's life? How's the wife? How's the kids? Hopefully good. I'm great. That's great. As Tiger will tell you. Because as we all know, Tiger is really just Tony the Tiger in a disguise. I don't know why I said in a disguise, as though Tony the Tiger couldn't just be on the other end of a computer, like as if there was like reason for him to be in a disguise in his own apartment, like as though he need. Like, oh yeah, no, even though it's all digital interaction, like he would need a disguise in addition, just so no one would know it's him. I guess in fairness, he doesn't exist. So all of this is roundabout and doesn't matter. So fair enough, but you know. Oh my god. I really thought more people knew this game. This is a shock to me. Well, c'est la vie, man. I don't know, it's kind of like, there's lots of games like that. Like, I imagine, I don't know, how many of you know of, like, I don't know, Age of Mythology? It's like an ancient game from, like, no pun intended. It's like an ancient game. It was like a random, I think it's like, when did Age of Mythology come out? Probably the 90s, but let's find out. Age of Mythology release. Oh, no, it came out in, 2002. Okay, that's not. I mean, it's still a long time ago, but still, you know, it's not like a terribly long time ago. It's at least this century. I'm back from Barcelona. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope it was poggable. You left one block? Yes, actually I left two. There's two up there. I left them with a friend, you know? Yes, Gamba, is that a yes, Gamba, that you've heard of it? Have you heard of Age of Mythology? Y'all ever play Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast? I have not. I've never even heard of it. Played The Force Unleashed. It made me sad. The game made me sad. And I cried. I was real mad at that game for a long time. Irrationally so. I was really mad about it. You know, that's all. I was none too happy with Force Unleashed. Don't get me wrong. Great game. I was just like a child and really hated the fact that like you kill Luke Skywalker, and I was none too pleased with this fact. I was real mad at the ripe old age I was. I was none too pleased. You know, whatever the opposite of chuffed to bits is, that's what I was in that moment. I don't know what the opposite would be. I don't know what a direct opposite of chuffed to bits is, but that was me at that moment. I was anything but chuffed. Bits or not. Catch y'all. So have a good rest of your stream. See ya, peace. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. It sounds like you're going right to bed, so I hope you have a great night's rest. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend, dude. Bye. But yeah, anyway, I don't know. It was just one of those games, you know? I was sad, and it was. I don't even think it's the main story where you do that. I think it's like a like side like version of like a quest kind of thing. It's like a version of it's an ending you could get where you like hunt down the character. You hunt down like Obi-Wan, you hunt down like Princess Leia and all the other people. Like, and it's sad. It's just sad. I don't know. A lot of people like it, and I'm like don't get me wrong, I like Force Unleashed overall, but just I remember that like I was distraught, man. Also, now I attempt to rebuild an ancient city, and big building in the center is uneven and the walls don't make sense. I got frustrated and gave up. Valid, understandable. Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it is. I don't think it is uneven. Or sorry, I don't think it is even number of blocks. I think it is uneven. I think it's got an odd number or whatever for that like central face that kind of exists in it. Pretty sure at least. Anyone watch the Wolfpack? I don't know what the Wolfpack is. Nope, not a clue. Not off the top of my head. Or wait, is that to do with World War II for some reason? That's ringing a bell. If that's the case, if there's something to do with a Wolfpack in World War II, is it like that? Is it? Wait, is it an Apple original series? No, I'm thinking of something else, aren't I? Though I will say, an Apple Originals, although I don't personally procure them through Apple, I would say, you know, that that Ted Lasso series is pretty nice. It's a pretty feel good series. You know what I mean? No, it's Teen Wolf that deals with World War II. I'm sorry, what? It's Teen Wolf in World War II. That feels weird. Oh, why? And it wasn't even that big! Oh my god, all that working for something not even that big. Really? Really? My god. Let me break that there, break Wolfpack is Paramount 2, huh? Epic Mickey picks in MSTM. Oh my god. What? I genuinely don't understand half of you, I swear to god. I don't even know what I said. Whatever. 3 incredible t-shirts, wait, what? 3 incredible t-shirts when I was in Barcelona, by the way. One was Los Polos Hermanos, the other is Walter White, and it says, let's cook, and the last one is an Apple UI with Pablo Escobar. I'm sorry, what? His Epic Mickey business is just... it's blowing my mind. It genuinely is. I'm so confused by it. Oh man. This is like, I don't think there is a faster way, by the way, to gather warped wood. Like outside, like going to the net, even going to the nether is more dangerous and not necessarily any faster. So like this is, although like repetitive, it really just is the best way to gather a bunch of warped wood. And we need so much. We need like, I don't know, like half a chest at least. If we're about I think we're about a half chest though already. Like we're getting there, right? Well, not really. Okay, we're almost to the end of the first 2 layers. Sweet Jesus. It's because I have to get rid. It's because they don't deteriorate all on their own. It's so annoying. Why do I have to break it all? Woo! 2 layers, man. Let's go. Sick. How much do we need? About half a double chest. So. Arguably just just 3 layers, so we're like more than half. We're at halfway. We're halfway there. We just need another row and change, and then that's about it. That's as much as we need. Just do another time skip. What do you mean? Time skip? I don't know what you mean, man. You sound insane. You sound bonkers. Oh, perfect. Ah, why? Alright, now let's gather all this wood. Give me that steak so I can eat that. Perfect. That's disgustingly too much. What do you mean? I didn't tell you about Beetleworks. Basically, some people washed up Broken and Oswald, and the Mad Doctor tried to put who's this Mad Doctor? Put the characters back together, but they turned into these mechanical monsters that are mixed and matched from Lost Disney animatronic rides. Oh my god! If you do it in a cave, wouldn't it block the size of the tree? Well, no, I want the trees to be the really big tall ones is the thing. The really big tall ones just get me the most wood, because no matter what, like, and have the least amount of the stuff to get through, the fungo, like other stuff. So the really tall ones are the best ones to get. Come to terms with the idea that maybe this book was given to me from another plane of reality, because reading this back I mean, yeah, you go to Amazon, it just doesn't exist. Like this book is not sold anywhere. So you're like, what? Where? What? It just never existed. You've lost your absolute mind. Nice. Alright, let's go back to the other side so we can make the big patch and make lots more mushrooms. Yeah! Yeah! Mushrooms! Who doesn't like making mushrooms? Listen, I know it's a lot of resource gathering, but it's gonna be, like, the build is gonna be huge. It's gonna be massive. So we kind of need a lot. The book no clipped into my room. Oh my god. You know what's wild, by the way? So I was reminded about it because, okay, so for those who were here Monday, I explained that, like, you know, I've been watching that show, The West Wing, for whatever reason. I'm almost through its first season. It's not like one that I can really, like, you get 1 or 2 episodes, maybe 3, and they're like, okay, all right, that's probably enough. Or at least I do, because otherwise, I find with shows, like, I don't know, I can't binge shows, because then I'll start to just get bored with, like, the in-betweener dialogue. Like, the B story, if it doesn't interest me, I'll just start, like, skipping it. Like just jumping ahead in increments of, like, 10 seconds at a time and just hearing little snippets of sentences and be like, yep, got it, yep, sure, yep. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just write it off of, like, yep, got it, understand, I got it. Like, and I'm totally, like, removing the pacing and any other element to this, like, their story, but I'm just like, yeah. Sure. Oh, yep, that's happening now. Yep. Oh, wow, this seems emotional and intense. Yes, of course. Yes, they're sad. They made them sad. This is an argument now. Cool. Then I'll just start skipping because I want to get back to the main story. But while doing that, there was this one particular plot point while they were dealing with ideas of, like, you know, the death penalty or whatever. But then whether or not to intercede, like, because the president can do that for a federal crime, and so they were debating that. And then one of the things that kind of came up from that, because I'm not like, is the question of, like, he's like, I need to talk to, I don't know, my priest or whatever. He's like, I want to talk to the Pope because he's Catholic or whatever. And it reminded me, because they make a point of how that, like, won't test well and would just make like reaffirm all the fears of the population. Because again, this was made in the 90s. And something that it reminded me of, which I think that maybe I've mentioned before, but that's still such an interesting difference between Joe Biden now and the past, is when JFK became president, one of the genuine concerns in America of that day, and again, you can go back through history files, like, you can find this information. There were people, like, a good portion of the population was genuinely concerned that because he was a Catholic, he was the first ever Catholic elected president, Joe Biden being the second. But the reason that's rare is because there was a genuine fear that if they were Catholic, if their president was Catholic, they would be beholden to the Pope. Like, they would listen to the Pope on what to do, because it's, like, you know, the head of their church. And so there was genuine concern of, like, no, they'll have to listen to the Pope, and the Vatican will have control over what America does. And I don't know, maybe it's just, like, because I'm so removed at this point from all that into the 21st century that seems like such a bizarre concern, but it's such an interesting concern to have been so prevalent at one point, and now now less than 100 years later, is not a concern for the current president. Like, there's not people arguing that currently, you know what I mean? Vatican City cares about America. Well, you gotta realize, like, the 20th century saw a lot of change, and by a lot of change, I mean the Vatican only, like, well, for the first half of the 20th century was in the final stages of its decline, but was still able to be considered, like, I'll put it this way, maybe this will put it in easier regard. for like up until basically the final stages of like the 40s, the people who really loved the board game Yahtzee in Germany decided they were not going to try to remove anything to do with that because they feared the power that the Pope and Catholic Church still wielded. Because again, for most of human history, of quote unquote modern history of the Common Era, the Vatican has wielded insane amounts of power and like made or destroyed whole nations at will, and that was a genuine fear of a lot of people because they just were controlling that way. Yeah, sure, the Vatican City has always been a small little city-state, but like genuinely, it's a very new phenomenon that the Pope doesn't wield that kind of power. Like, to the point that, like, most leaders in Europe, like, if the Pope showed up and was like, you should do this, they would do it for fear of the Catholic Church excommunicating them or deciding to tell their people, like, their the devout followers of the of Catholicism, like, oh, your king's evil or whatever. And people would, like, genuine riots would break out. People would revolt, not listen. They would, like, government would lose legitimacy. Like, that's, like, part of the reason why America was such a weird thing in its originality was, this idea of a separation of church and state. And so that's so interesting to me that right up into the 60s, a genuine debate that occurred in a presidential debate was, how can we know that you're not gonna turn around and make us decisions for America because the Pope told you to? And people were like genuine. They were like, yeah, that's a real thing that could happen. And they were worried. And that's such an interesting change in less than like, 1960, I think that's the election. It's a 1960 election. So you're at what? 40, 50 years or so? You're 50 years away from that. And so within one lifetime, that's disintegrated so much that it didn't even come up. Like, no one's even really, like, no one talks about it as like a concern in the slightest. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's interesting. As a development, that's so interesting. I have an assignment about the Yahtzees today in English. Just kept answering Russian bad because they were such lukewarm questions. Valid, cannot imagine. No, but really, that's the thing. I can't imagine either. I'm like, I can't imagine that being like a forefront concern of people to be like, oh, we need to ask that question because we don't know how it's gonna work out. I'm like, really? That's concerning? And like, there were other presidents prior to Kennedy who lost. Like, candidates that were arguably better in some cases than the person that won as a statesman that lost on the basis of the fact that people were concerned. Oh, yeah, no, they'll be beholden to the... Because at the end of the day, particularly in those days, the Pope really was, so far as those people were concerned, and are, so far as I'm aware, still concerned. It is what they think. And not that I'm saying there's anything wrong with that. That's the voice of God, just in human form. Like, whatever he says is meant to be just what God told him. Like, there is no other, like, it's like it's him, an angel, Jeezy Creasy, and God. Like, that's the lineup. That's your order of operations of who's in charge. So like that's why there's the concern is that they're like, oh, if that is what these people believe, then why wouldn't they listen to that person? And then that's leading their policy decisions. So yeah, that was like a genuine concern that like Kennedy had to like prove that that's not gonna be a problem for him if he became president, and it ended up not being a problem for Kennedy. But it's just interesting to me that like what's also interesting is Joe Biden. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check, but I'm like 90% sure. When did Biden join the Senate? Yeah, so only like 10 years later was Biden joined the Senate. And before that, like he was, so like Biden was in politics at the time, because I think he was like a governor or something like that before that, or not a governor, whatever he was before that. People scared of the Pope controlling America versus American laws being created fast as possible based on the... Well, and that's the thing. That's another very new phenomenon. That's it's, I don't know, it's very interesting to me. Maybe it's a boring topic, but like for instance, the idea of like, you know, in God we trust being on the money, or the Pledge of Allegiance, like ideas of God being involved at all, in like a Christian God being involved in policy, is very new. The rise of that comes just around the same time Kennedy's coming into power. That comes right after McCarthyism. Like that whole, like all of those changes, like all of that is changes made very late in the game, and was nothing to do with the like origins of like, you know, what the founding fathers believed or anything. Most of the founding fathers were actually like self-admitted agnostic to atheists. I think there's like 3 signatories to the Declaration of Independence who were like confirmed devotees of religion, of any type of religion. You know what I mean? I mean, fair. I don't know. I worry. You know, I worry. I love imagining in the hardcore world that I'm a cat that appears magically on Nap's shoulder. Valid. As long as you don't try to eat the world, that would be a problem. But yeah, I don't know. That's such like an interesting change, though, that like that's become something that was so like, and you have the party that does tell you like, oh, we love the founding fathers and we love the Constitution, but they clearly don't. Like what's wild to me, not just because like liberal, like not just because he was quote unquote a liberal, not modern day liberalism, but like liberal as in Enlightenment period liberal, but like I would argue founding fathers like Washington, even Jefferson, I understand, don't get me wrong, I understand these men are very complicated, owned slaves, and did a lot of bad things as well, or like Ben Franklin and all these people. Like, I genuinely think these individuals would be considered like quote unquote woke leftists by a lot of, like, particularly if they read a lot of the writings of these individuals, they'd be considered like woke leftists by a lot of the modern day right, which is wild. It like because genuinely, like when you read the writings of these people and what they thought, it was not only like revolutionary within the colonies of America, it was revolutionary for its time, a culmination of the, like, we've talked about this before in stream, but like the idea of being a citizen, having a right to anything, or rights in general as an idea, were new. That was not something that existed or was even thought of. Compilation of Nat being a Washington State. I actually am not a big fan of Washington, personally. Believe it or not. Oh man. Yeah, the government for Christ's sake. Yeah, well, and that's the thing though, is a lot of those people feel that that's them, but they don't see the difference between revolting against the government that happened for the Revolutionary War and that happened for the Civil War, and so they see the Civil War as the same thing. And anyway, a lot of them would see themselves modeled in these men without realizing that, you know, a lot of those figures would disagree with a lot of their own, with a lot of the practices of these individuals. And that's the thing, that like a lot of them would find the actions of modern day conservatism to be quite deplorable. It's wild. But yeah, I don't know. Stuff like that's very interesting to me, and this show is kind of highlight among other things. It's very interesting to watch a show. I mean, obviously I do poli-sci and stuff like that, but like, I think it's just interesting for anybody to like watch and then consider and try not to roll your eyes as you really try to consider from the perspective of, I guess, the people who were writing the show, who had lived and were alive and had an opinion on what it meant to be presidential and in the office of the president and all these other things, and then consider beyond that what the things that like, that's the thing. There's moments. What's wild about this show that I'll say is there's moments where you know, I feel like I'm like vibing for the most part. I mean, it's a Democrat president, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I get. And then these takes will come out. The poggers.
Well, finally got my sub message. I libertine.
You're not libertine. Oh my god. Melanie, thank you so much for the prime. Oh my god. 12 months total. Oh my good, great. A year of prime. Oh my good, great. Thank you so much, Mello. Oh my good gracious. Mello, that's very kind. But yeah, what I was gonna say is, yeah, they'll come out with these random stances though that are like shockingly bad, and I'm like, oh, excuse me. And then I remember, oh, this was made in the 90s. Oh my god. things will just come out of their mouths, and I'll be like, Gesundheit, excuse me? Because it deals with some heavier topics, obviously, and so, like, you can tell it's definitely, like, a left-leaning show for its day, but man, I guess it does do a good job of underscoring how far certain conversations have come. Because, you know, it's a show being written out of the period of Clinton, where you have things like, you know, the don't ask, don't tell, and all these other things, like. So, like, from that perspective, from like issues of race and women and all these other, and gender and all these other things, it's just insane. It boggles my mind. I got yelled at by a teacher because I told a conservative kid in my class, George Washington would think he's a cat. What? Why would you get yelled at for that? That's just valid. What do you mean? In what way can they even yell at you for that? Oh my god. I don't know. This stuff's weird like that, man. I'll hope oh my god, I didn't even get more steak and I need more. I'll hope or presume that your teacher just did that because they were, I don't know, just trying to prevent anybody from being like, quote unquote, mean to anybody. I don't know. That's a weird take by your teacher. You really don't have to go much farther than reading the works of a lot of these people to like, don't get me wrong. It's not like I think that these people are perfect. In any regards, I think they're not just deeply complicated. They're wrong on a lot of issues. Like, a lot of issues, but they're also hundreds of years old. So who cares what they think? The kid got really upset over it and laughed at him really hard. Good. Get obliterated, nerd. Get got. What an absolute fool. But for real, like, it's like, don't get me wrong. I'm all for finding my day-to-day is spent reading stuff from long dead people, but and while there's value to it, at a certain point you also have to drag yourself out of it and go, yeah, who cares? Like, I've met people who are like constitutionalists or whatever, and they'll be like, well, the founding fathers. I'm like, the founding fathers don't exist anymore. They're dust to dust, buddy boy. They're dead. Who cares? Are they making the nation? No, they're not. They're dead. Give it a rest. I don't care. I don't. Because what does it matter? At the end of, like, okay, they thought a lot of things. And? Your point? Oh, man, really me every day. First hour, algebra, like, I'm gonna snap at some point. Oh, man. Oh, well, that sucks even more. I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Yeah, it does tend to be the way that, you know, people like that who are bullies just kind of get off until eventually the teacher's like, hey, you do snap, and then the teacher's like, hey, you can't do that. You're like, what? My brother in Christ, were you not just watching literally the hours of torment? Ugh. Anyway, that's enough of my sermon. That's enough. We don't need the nap sermon right now. We don't need it. Oh man. Points the mic at the conspicuously silent grave. Oh my good god. No, but it's true. I'm like, who cares? In what way? Like, oh, okay. Like, are you living any other aspect of your life by that? No. Because you know the people who bring that up literally only bring it up when it's to, like, prevent things from changing. They're like, what, the founding fathers? And they're like, okay. Guess what? The founding fathers wanted things to change. They wanted to change from being under the rule of monarch. You know what they did? They violently revolted and did it. Ugh. It's there's no end to it. And like, it's never in good faith. So, like, it's not like I'm ever gonna win by being able to point that out. There's no winning in an argument with a lot of those people. So, you know, it's just a big mess. But either way, would be disappointed that we refused to update the document that they made intent to. Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly, my God. It's meant to be enshrined and under glass forever. The founding fathers. So yeah, anyway, we made this draft because it's in the middle of a war right now. We'll probably revisit it later. It's gonna need some updates. In fact, it's designed to have a whole sequence that's called amendment. Also, it's designed for 13 colonies. 13 really small states. And not, you know, just like... It's so stupid. So yeah, this is designed to like help manage these 13 like fairly small groups of less population than what would be in a modern, I think, any state currently. I don't think a single state has less than the combined population of all 13 original states. So it's like, maybe it just maybe it just needs a design. I didn't get the steak. Maybe it just needs an update occasionally. Maybe it needs a Windows update. We went from Windows 10, which was, you know what? Bill Gates said Windows 10 was going to be the final Windows. Guess what? We got Windows 11. Maybe we need a Constitution 2.0. Can you imagine? Hey, Constitution 2, Electric Boogaloo. What do we want to put in this one, boys? Oh, man. Genuine missed opportunity. I mean, like, there's a lot of missed opportunities in American history, obviously, but I think one of the most clear was, you know, well, which partially occurred because of the death of Lincoln, but I think had it been allowed to, I don't know, write a new one at that point, like, hey, you know, we just came back together, let's rewrite this. I feel like that might have been a good idea. Just a thought. Just a thought. Apparently I can't say that because according to this kid that's admitted I'm wrong. Oh, I like the Constitution. This kid, owned, obliterated, woke. Overall, there were an estimated only 2.5 million people living in the 13 colonies. Although that number would be taken with a grain of salt since the census did not occur since 1790. The U.S. population is just shy over 325 million. That's approximately 130 times increase over 241 years. We do some googling here. We do a little we do a little bit of googling. You know. The reason why I befriended my teacher is so that when I sent people to beat up my bully, they all agreed to look away and said I had fallen off. Oh my God, work smarter, not harder. Oh my God. This kid wore a hoodie with a, ugh. Oh, so they're trash. Okay, cool. I got really upset when I asked him why he cares about this history. This is how they, if we literally live on the Canadian. Oh my Lord. Guys like, the South will rise again. Excuse me? You know, it's so wild to me when you'll meet people occasionally who like will say that or have that as a bumper sticker. Like, they realize that's just open treason, right? Like the group that, like, no matter how you slice it, the people you're upholding are seditionists and traitors. Like that's it. That full stop. Traitors to the Union. It blows me away that there's anyone who's able to just justify, like, how anybody, like, sure, I get it was a different time, but I've never understood how, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do literally understand how the history in the 1910s into the 1920s was specifically changed with the, I think it's called the Mothers of Confederation or whatever, or Sisters of Confederation, or of the Confederacy. And it was a group that specifically worked like so hard after all the veterans had basically died and all the people who were really alive at the time were dead. They worked so hard to change it to the idea of my heritage and all these other things. Like, it was genuinely daughters, my mistake, thank you. But yeah, like no, I fully appreciate how good of a marketing campaign that basically was to change all that and be like, hey, we would like to still be racist, but boggles my absolute mind how that could ever happen when ultimately, even if it is let's take the presumption. Let's go, oh yeah, sure. I'll believe you that it was about states' rights and it was about the rights of individuals. Either way, the process for changing that is through an election, not through open treason. So I don't care what you thought you were fighting for or what your family thought was right to fight for. At the end of the day, they're a traitor to the nation. Oopsie! Whoopsie! Like, I've never understood that argument. They're like, oh, it was about my rights. It's like, okay, there's a genuine and legitimate way. You like the Constitution, right? You like the Founding Fathers. Yeah, they wrote those things in a way that you could then challenge it if the government ever became a problem in terms of that. Like, there's checks and balances to prevent that very same overreach. State right, yeah, the right to, oh, don't get me wrong. I understand it's totally BS to begin with, and it is the right to own, like, the right to own slaves and all these other things. Do not get me wrong. That was a war about getting to own people. That is what that was. Full stop. But my point is just, even if we take their version of it, like, even if we take it as like some altruistic whatever, there's systems in place to change that they refused to use and instead went to open treason. It's not war. It's not a civil war. Is really not a war at the end of it. That's like most civil wars afterwards. You don't call it a war in the same way typically. You see it as, oh yeah, then there was this brief attempted overthrow of the government that then got put down. We don't refer to the Whiskey Rebellion, which, if those aren't familiar, was a bunch of people in Virginia who tried to basically secede from the Union as well. Is the best way to describe it. Like, we don't describe that as being like, oh yeah, that's the war of the, no. Say, was it a rebellion? And it got put down. Yeah, a bunch of traitors. Oh my god, this stream has made me wonder if my teacher in high school make Civil War was about economic argument is because we're in the South, or if they were just trying to dumb it down for, or what. Listen, a lot of work was done. It's hard when it comes to teachers. It's a little more difficult because sometimes the state decides what they're allowed to teach, and depending on what state you're in, they're not allowed to teach the history in any other way. But at the end of the day, economics is not wrong in a way to describe it, but the economics of slavery is what made the South prosperous. It's the fact they didn't have to pay people to work that made the South prosperous. So that's where, like, there is a definite economic argument for it, but that economic argument, and this isn't directed at you, MJ, as like you personally think that. I'm just saying, like that is a way that lots of people will frame it, but when they frame it that way, what they're leaving out is the fact that, yeah, it's a moral argument of how we want to order our economy. The same thing can be said today when you look at movements like the Occupy Wall Street movement or the like. It's a moral argument. That's the when people are like, oh, that's bad economics. No, it's when you say, property like a right to shelter and food should exist, and UBI, and people are like, well, that's bad economics. It's like, no, it's a decision of if we want to use an economic system and we want to have a morally guided economic system, or do we just want something to make the most money? Do we want morals as a nation or not? That's the question. They just try to confuse it by saying, oh, well, it's about the economy. Yeah, it's about the type of economy. It's not about any economy can be done and thrive. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you can make a million different types of economies that thrive. On paper, the economy in this that the CCP run works like a charm. Morally, it's bankrupt. That's the end of it. That's the whole thing. And it blows my mind the people you'll meet who will argue. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think you understand. Oh my god. Also, I'm so sorry. I've been missing messages. Whoop-de-doo, there's a traitor in the room and all the fingers point at you. Bop bop, Pepperbox, my beloved. Oh my god. Percival DeRollo, is that you? I think revolutions are dope. Civil War was cringe though. They literally wanted to own say, yeah, true. My day def cultivated to paint this out in a good light. Kinda hard to have an economy with no alive people to participate. Yeah. I live relatively close to the liberal part of my state. I know some areas can be bad, but now I'm just wondering what led the teachers to say it instead of something else. Valid, yeah. That's the thing, is it's there's also elements to that of like what year you were being taught this and etc. Like education systems. That's the thing. People always try to say, "Oh, we want to take the politics out of education." Education is political. The question of if you're going to teach openly and true fact is a political decision, because we know dictatorships don't. What do you mean? The dissemination of knowledge is a deeply political question, and has always been political. What for instance, one of the most fascinating things to me that's almost never taught in any public school level. So you've probably heard or maybe read. One second, let me take a quick drink. Anti-American. Oh my god. What I was gonna say was you know what? I appreciate that hydrate. I do. Oh man. Anyway, what I was gonna say, sorry, was one of the most interesting things to me is you've probably read accounts of European settlers first coming to North America, or maybe you've read some accounts of European settlers or explorers or whatever is going to to different parts of Asia, going to the Middle East, going to like China or to Japan or all these other things. Like, you get these accounts of what their first thoughts were. You may have seen or heard, and it's like the explanations of these societies and all these other things of like what they thought, etc. Well, one of the things that's almost always left out and is incredibly interesting is there were other big societies. China was massive for most of history, like in terms of its like power and influence on the world. Same was true with there's accounts that we're occasionally starting to get it now, but like accounts of Native Americans and stuff like that as they encountered different groups that came to North America, as they encountered colonials and the like. What's interesting is that we almost never hear the accounts of the explorers of China, or the explorers of Japan, or the explorers of Korea. Well, I mean, it was under control of China at the time, but or the explorers of Armenia, or the explorers of Egypt, or the who went to Europe at these are people who had the ability to wander the world just the same as anybody else, catch a ship, go somewhere else, and would go to places like North America. And we have accounts from them of like what they thought of these people that they came across when they came to European cities and the like, and when they met the people of Portugal, they met the people of Britain, when they met the people of Holland, when they met etc. 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 So like that alone, reframing the idea of exploration as not a purely European thing, because that is often how it's framed. I mean, it gets complicated, don't get me wrong, like there's a complication to how that can be framed and the like, because it makes narratives complicated, and there's only so much you can cover in a public school setting. But genuinely, the lack of coverage to the idea of explorers coming to Europe and coming back to their emperor in China or Japan, or back to different tribal areas in Africa and the like, or kingdoms in Africa, like Kingdom of Ethiopia and the like, and back to Egypt and all these other places. Like, they encountered these people and their ways, and definitely had thoughts. And their own accounts of these different instances are deeply interesting to read about, but we never get to learn about the idea of the non-European explorer. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, obviously you can probably find me instances where you were probably taught about this issue, but like, genuinely, what my point is like, it's in the cultural mindset. When you think of like the explorer going into the far stars, we often think of caravel ships and we think of, you know, the Spanish or the Portuguese or the British or the Dutch or whatever. Like, we don't think often of people of India coming to America, to the Americas, or to Europe and the like. The way I was going to ask why we didn't vein mine from the beginning. And so actually there is a very interesting book, I forget its title off the top of my head, that does have that account of like a Chinese exploring expedition that like was reporting back to their emperor, like, oh yeah, like these people of what we know they meant Poland and stuff like that. They depict them as like all loving to dance with bears, because that was like a pastime in villages at certain areas, or how they mistook the British for being under the control of Holland, and that's because the Dutch East India Trading Company was so prevalent at that time that like the Dutch were just the most powerful, and it was presumed, oh yeah, the Dutch must just be like in control of this weird island off the coast. They genuinely just presumed the English were under the rule of the Dutch. I also would like to dance with a bear. or how they saw the people of Spain. Or like their descriptions down to like, yeah, they do this weird like folded leather into like a triangle kind of hat, a tricorn hat, which most people associate with, you know, the colonial America and the like. But they discuss the fashion, they discuss these things as just being very odd. Nobody wears these robes, they wear these very kind of ornate stitched things, etc. Like, and their descriptors on meals, their descriptors on the types of food that are had. And it puts you in the position of seeing Europeans as the thing being studied versus the other way around, which is an interesting way to frame it because we don't often get that framing, particularly in public school, where it's taught as very Eurocentric. Like, there's an amazing account from... oh god, I'm blanking on their name. It's the native tribe that rightfully owns Big Rock President's Faces. Good lord, I'm blanking so hard. National Monument. Stolen mountain should be returned. We carved a bunch of presidents' faces into it. It's very important to them. They literally won the Supreme Court case. Rushmore. I forget the mountain's actual name as well. But yeah, Mount Rushmore, like the tribe that's around there, like their first actual interactions with Europeans. We have those accounts, and it's very interesting to read. It's before many it's before a lot of the issues of colonialism began. It's before. Or I should say, sorry, that's a bad framing. Lots of issues of colonialism happened from the jumpstart, particularly the massive disease that wiped out millions upon millions of natives. But my point is, it's before, we'll say, relations soured and then war broke out between certain groups. You know what I mean? So, like, in the lead up to things like the 7 Years' War, where it was a bit better relations depending on the tribe. Very dependent. It like, tribe to tribe varied in how these things occurred. It's all very different. I'm trying to both provide the understanding that this is a complex topic, but also, you know, we're on a Twitch stream. But yeah, anyway, their account of European is fascinating. It's genuinely so interesting, man. Because like, how often do you get the chance to really like see it through that perspective? Like, sure, I don't know, you get thrown a bone, I guess, in the fairly poorly representatively made Pocahontas, but like. That you really don't see it represented much in popular media, at least not well. Oh my god, these absolute buffoons, these absolute villains. Why? Obliterated. Shoot your friend. Yeah, shoot your friend. Yeah, shoot your friend. Shoot your friend. No, shoot your friend. There we go. Shoot your friend. Shoot your friend. He has this weird goo on him. I don't like him. I don't like the gooey friend. Thank you. Thank you. Very kind. Yes, thank you. Big Pog. Anyway. good to hear. It's been a bit since I played Minecraft. I should get back into it at some point. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, that was not directed at me. My favorite thing to hear about is how cringe, fail, and lame the Anabashi people thought the French were when they showed up and all died or whatever from the cold. Oh my god, cringe, bro. Bro, they didn't even know how to survive the cold. Bunch of idiots. What a bunch of buffoons. Oh my god. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I think teaching it, the way history is taught is just a very interesting subject matter. Oh, that's why I got onto that topic, is I was saying the way things are taught is very political to begin with. And then the other thing that I was going to add to that is a great example of that is the Revolution. Because, you know, the American Revolution, what was going on was being very controlled in terms of where, who knew what in Europe. For example, back to the Dutch. While they did reprint the Declaration of Independence, they removed any and all reference to the King of England because the Dutch had a king and they didn't want people getting ideas, which, you know, evidently didn't work out for the French monarch when they were like, oh, we'll help them. What's the worst that could happen? And so, like, news about it was very tightly controlled in some areas, but let happen in other. There is, oh, sorry, yeah, there is still a king of the Dutch and stuff like that. I think they're going to the coronation or whatever. Same with, actually, what's interesting, this is going to be the first coronation, I believe, where a lot of foreign, like, monarchs are going. Normally it's just like a crown prince or something like that would attend a coronation, but now it's like the king and queen of Spain are going, the king and queen of Sweden, the king and queen of oh, also that's another thing I feel like a lot of people here in the States don't realize. Yeah, there's a lot of kings still around. Like, I feel like I was asked at one point by somebody I know, they're like, oh yeah, so why do you think like the English royal family managed to survive like the period of revolutions, but like the French one didn't? Like, what made the English one not get it toppled? And I was like, well, I mean, first things first, most didn't. Like, it's actually up until, like, that's the thing, up until World War I, it was still all empires. That was the end of the age of empire, in truth, because prior to that, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, an 1,000-year-old empire, crumbled and lost its royal family. That was huge. That's the Habsburgs. The Ottoman Empire, literally around since the fall of Rome, like, they collapsed with that. The German Empire, or Prussian king, he only went away with that with Kaiser Wilhelm II. So, like, King of Italy goes away after World War II, and that's because of Mussolini. Like, that, like, kings were pretty and most everyone else still has theirs. In fact, Portuguese only don't, because it got folded into the Spanish line because of heirs. There just wasn't an heir. Scottish kingdom technically still exists. That's why the United Kingdom exists, because their crown was vested into the English line, which is also why their Supreme Court recently ruled that like the Scottish Supreme Court recently ruled that they really can't, like, they can't leave the United Kingdom. They can leave potentially Britain, but they can't really leave, like, even if they leave Britain, potentially, they would never be able to politically be away from, barring a revolution, obviously, they couldn't depart the monarch, because technically their crown is vested in that under, like, agreement, not won by war, but like a genuine agreement. But yeah. Anyway, so there's like so many different, like Sweden, Norway. I don't think Finland still has their monarch. They might, but I don't think they do. The Dutch still have theirs. Does Belgium? I don't actually know. My mom's here with my tonsils. Oh my god, meds. Oh, I thought you meant your mom was there with your tonsils. Your mom just like rocked up like, hey, Mello, I got you tonsils. They're just in a jar. just ready. Just right there like, hey, look at these. Just start shaking them. Oh my god. They're just like floating in a liquid in a jar. Oh my god. I don't know why that's what I thought you meant, but it is. Oh my god. That was. I genuinely just read that and was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?" She just came in the room, just like, "Oh, sweetie, I got your tonsils." Like, excuse me? Ah! Blech. Yeah, as they were putting me under for surgery, what'd they say? They say yes? Were you allowed to keep them? You should be. They're part of you. Empire was still around and kings are still here. Also, the French royal family is still everywhere because we married into a ton of both the Bourbon and the Bonaparte line still exist, and I think it was only 2015 maybe where like they took it to the Supreme Court between those two. The idea of they took it to before the Supreme Court of France of like who can call themselves the like, I don't know, rightful heir, or like who, like what throne claim can make the claim of like having a throne and all those other things. And the Supreme Court of France of the current republic basically put up its hands and was like, we actually can't make a ruling on this because there is no legal place for either of your royal family in the current setup, and it's just kind of, you know, okay, oh well, like it's who knows. They don't have the authority to say. It's kind of like how in the revolutionary government, they weren't technically, like they were unsure if they were even able to like sentence the king to something, or if anything, like the question became, which is not unlike the Nixon defense, but in a very different scenario. I shouldn't have even made that comment because that confuses the idea, but the question of around King Louis XVI was, you know, like, he was killed for treason, but the question was, can a king even commit treason? Because the actual thought of the time was the king is literally France, and France is the king. They are one and the same. So how could the king commit treason against himself? Was the question. Because if the king does it, then it automatically, how could it possibly be treason? Evidently they kill him, but you know, it was an interesting little thought experiment. Evidently, man still dies, but yeah, arguably, from in a theoretical level, probably shouldn't have. In terms of that, but you know, I'm not saying that like it was good or bad. Like, I'm not saying there shouldn't have been a dissolution. I'm just saying, arguably, they under from a legal perspective, yeah, they really couldn't under their own laws kill the king, but they did. Or well, they didn't. They killed under their own laws. They didn't kill the king. They killed the person whose body inhabits it's a whole bunch of things. He said, no, well, that's stupid. I imagine a bag of tonsils like a brown paper bag packed for lunch. I gotta keep 2 of my 4 wisdom teeth. They're in a box on my shelf. Oh my god. Do you ever think about how many teeth are just like, because a lot of people's parents keep their baby teeth and just like they don't get rid of them. Like, for any of you who have ever moved out of your parents' home or at that stage or anything like that, like do you ever just like consider that like a full set of your teeth are just like in that house? What? Oh, lots of parents, particularly in North America, I guess I can't speak to Europe, lots of parents will keep baby teeth as they fall out. I've not considered. Yeah, that's the thing. Like some people's parents, like, you'll ask people, like, did you get rid of those? And they'll be like, oh no, I guess, yeah, that's just up in a box somewheres. Like, it's just up in a box years later, and they're just like, oh yeah, and you just have teeth in the house. I'm sure my parents tossed them. Maybe. You should ask. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. It's the same way that they'll have baby books that technically, if your parent had like a baby book that's like baby's first haircut, and it'll have like that lock of hair from that haircut, like that just means you have hair somewheres in the world that's not near you or on your body or anything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just have your hair in a book. I did I did have most of my baby teeth, but they got all weird and crumbly, so I threw away. Well, yeah, I mean, they are eroding teeth. Yeah, that'll happen. But no, free. Yeah, like they just have them. I've never asked my own parents. I don't want to know. But no, that's like the thing is, it's like, because they'll like keep them when you are a bit, like they don't realize like, oh yeah, or think at a certain point, because you know, you have things and then you forget to ever consider to throw them out, and then you're just like, oh yeah, I guess I do still have that. And I think that's hilarious. I gaslit my parents into thinking I still believe the Tooth Fairy and still got Tooth Fairy money until I stopped losing teeth. Like, oh, the way my parents threw them away, and when I asked about the money, they told me to this is why they give me the money directly. Oh my god. Caleb was like, what about the Tooth Fairy? They were like, no. They were like, no. Shush. Oh man. But anyway, yeah, that's always been like one of those weird little things that I feel like a lot of people don't consider or think of. But yeah, like your parents might just have your teeth, like you might have a full set of teeth just in a house somewhere that you haven't thought of since you lost them. I don't know. I find it funny. I think that's hilarious. I think that's a great bit. Like they just have your teeth, and for why? Like for why? Are they saving them for something? Are they gonna cast a spell? Is it to make a voodoo doll? Like what's the purpose of it? And they just like will still have them. Oh my god, it's so funny to me. Funny story, I kept growing premolars like the baby teeth would fall out, and I thought the ones that came in were the adult ones, right? Nope, they just kept falling out and growing in several times like a shark! Oh my god. That's wild. What do you mean you're just rotating teeth? That sounds like a fever dream. I know it's not a full set because I swallowed all three. You what? The mouse is superior to the Tooth Fairy. It is so. Oh my god. Not any of my molars are canines or anything, just like premolars. I don't trust something called the Tooth Fairy. Why not? Why not? That sounds perfectly trustworthy. You don't trust the fairy that shows up and steals your teeth? It was weird to me, like, how many of you are familiar with the movie? I don't think it was like very big, but like the movie, we've talked about it before, so I know some of you do know about it. But the movie Rise of the Guardians, because I watched that recently for Easter, because you know there's not really an Easter movie, and I was watching it. It's a little confusing at times when you consider that like there's just this moment where like the Tooth Fairy's like obsessed, and that's like not an uncommon thing. I mean, the same thing happened in Fairly Odd Parents with like the Tooth Fairy being obsessed with Timmy Turner's teeth, but like the Tooth Fairy's like obsessed with Jack Frost's teeth. It's weird, man. It's weird. Like, why is she so focused in on them teeth? Digest the baby teeth, a third dominance. He's telling me the Tooth Fairy took him. Oh! Your dad's just like, Tooth Fairy has him. My god. Valid. So valid, King. So true. Tooth Fairy needed him. Still has him. Don't worry about it. Freaking love that movie. It was really good. I was always sad that it never got a sequel. Also, I always forget that Chris Pine, like, is Jack Frost in that. Like, Chris Pine voices him. And I always forget that fact. And I'm like, oh yeah. Not that that's like a bad thing. I forget. I forget it's Chris Pine and like Hugh Jackman and stuff like that. It's like a star-studded cast. And I'm like, excuse me? I mean, not as star-studded as the Monsters vs. Alien cast, which is insane. The amount of celebrities that are involved with that movie. Not that it wasn't a good movie, just like, really? That's the movie? That's the movie that they're all involved with, huh? Okay. Because they are white and fresh as snow, and that's her hyperfixation that she's turned into a career. But it's weird for anybody to obsess over your teeth. That's odd, man. I'm not gonna lie. If I knew someone and their hyperfixation was my teeth, I'd be a little concerned. I would be wary around this individual. well, if you just think they're relatable, Caleb, I thought you meant that when you said kind of, when you said why are they kinda, I thought you meant something else, but oh, you just think they're relatable. Yeah, fair enough, I guess. And here I thought you were going down the Venom route again. Well, I guess it's not as bad as Venom, but you know what I mean. Well, mess that up. They're all kind of hot. Oh my god. Okay, Ray went that route. Oh my god. I don't know. I like a good, nice, sharp set of choppers. Oh, Chad. Chad, come on. To be fair, she's an immortal fairy that steals teeth at night. Normal has left the building. Yeah, and it's an Australian bunny rabbit that delivers eggs, but you know, I'm still gonna judge it. That had three logs. My partner, everyone. That Dwayne The Rock Johnson was in? I remember, I never watched it, but I remember, I think, hearing about it. It was very early in his career. I think it's like one of his first movies when he was still like best known as like a wrestler. And they were like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is the Tooth Fairy, and people were like, oh my god, that's so funny, it's a man, and he's being forced. He's being forced to be nice and do something girly. You know? That was the bit. That was the bit of that movie. It was this huge man is having to wear a tutu and go be a tooth fairy. that's classic comedy. It writes itself. That's the whole bit. So you know. Why did they make the Caleb! It's a bunny! Chatters, no, please! Oh my god. I say that, but it's not like I can, oh my god. Y'all are just out here, huh? You ever hear something called digital footprint? you ever hear that? Is that just like a fable to you guys? Is that just something you've never heard of? You're just like, ah, yeah. I'm sure that doesn't exist. No, it's valid. That bunny was humanoid and definitely plenty of... My god. You know, I don't get it, but as long as you're happy and not hurting anybody, I don't care what people are. You know what? Moving right along. Cause you've been struck by a big criminal. And bring up the Easter Bunny. Oh my god. My valedictorian essay is gonna be on the bunny. I will say, no, I won't say. Never mind. Digital footprint from Mr. Nobody Believe he's an adult. Oh, what do you... Get the put. We have been over this. I have said multiple times I am very old, and you guys choose to ignore it. That's on you. That's on you. I'm very, 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 very old. If you choose to ignore that fact, that's on you, buckaroo. Don't say nap. Don't say what? I will say that. Oh, that. Oh, no. Well, no, it wasn't anything bad per se. It was just like. Listen, Kayla, listen. I hate it here. Shut up. I hate it here with every fiber of my being. My God. I absolutely was not, Ray. Excuse me. That's not fair. I have the existential threat of knowing that I could easily be forced into a horror game. I'm not arguing with you today. I have threats laid above my head, sir. Every lane is my lane, and don't you forget it. Shmee. Shmee. MJ out here. MJ out here like, why? Why do I why do I know this person? Actually working payment. I just about had to play the Pizza Hut, and I'm gonna try to explain my doctor what I've been up to. Oh my God. Sweet Jesus, I couldn't eat for a bit. My throat hurt. I'm glad you were able to get sustenance. Valid king, so true Calum. Never mind, I take it back for now. I rescind. For now. Oh my good gracious. Oh my good gracious. To play with Inhuman. Doesn't solve anything. Just you wait till next month, buckaroo. Just you wait when I'm no longer working with this axe above my head. Just you wait. I'll give you a what for then. Ow. I like the noise they make. Boom. Creeper. Oh man. Oh man, Creeper. Get out of here! I don't want you around! Oh man. In other news though, I'm pretty excited. You know, in general, I'm pretty excited for I think where this build's gonna go. I'm thinking we're getting pretty close to the actual goals that we have. You know. I mean, yeah, we've done like that many. That's a good amount. We're probably gonna switch here. We'll switch up. We'll go back to building some over by the docks for the rest of the stream. Maybe some like road work. I like to switch it up. For now, I'll just leave that as is. I'll take this stuff, head on over. We might go into the Nether, I guess, maybe like next stream to like actually get more warped wood that way, but I don't know. I don't know which is faster. I mean, I guess just going to the warped wood forest, because then I don't have to break any of the actual, like, what are they called? Warped wart block, but like, I don't know. Also, it boggles my mind that this doesn't, like, does this not turn into, why doesn't this turn into nether wart? It's wart block from the nether. That sounds an awful lot like nether wart. It's not that I underestimate, it's that I just there's no winning in this conversation. It's not that I underestimate, it's that I think you have too much pride and business acumen to lower yourself to do such a thing. Yeah! There we go. Navigated, obliterated, incinerated. I'm just digging myself a deeper hole. I have a love-hate relationship with Minecraft domes. Huh? On the one hand, pretty. On the other hand, annoying to build. True, but very pretty. You're right. Very pretty indeed. What else can I grab from in here? I don't really need too much of this other stuff yet. It'll all be a matter of like moving it over. You know what I mean? Sure thing, Mello. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, dude. I hope you have a fast recovery, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye. Anyways, I built the dome one block off, so I gotta move the whole thing. No! Oh no, Ray! Oh my god, no! That's awful! R.I.P. R.I.P. Ray, we hardly knew ye. Oh my good gracious. Yeah, I'm gonna breed the cows again, I think. Actually, even can I? Let's find out. Let's get some wheat. Let's get some wheat. I'll just get the one or two pieces of wheat for now, so that I can then be sure to test if that I can breed right now, and if so, then yeah, we'll make a move to do so. Oh man. R.I.P. Ray. Okay, no, I can't. I can't imagine being that, like, done of a dome and having to move the whole thing. Actually, you know what? I can, because this is one block off. And I haven't moved it since. You know why that side of the wall doesn't have its tower done? Is because it's one block off. You see where it's meant to land right there, and then no, it connects there. I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'll get to it, and then and it's been months. It has been literal months, and I just didn't finish that whole side of the wall, literally just because this like it's built, but then this tower is one block off, and I was like, oh my god. And so I could move it all just one up, and then but then the problem that then presents is by moving it one up, this was perfectly aligned. This part was perfectly aligned because it's 3 and 5, 3 and 5, and then it was 3 and 5, and then 3, and it perfectly lined up. Oh my god. So I have to tear that whole chunk of the wall down and maneuver it somehow, and that's yeah. So I can appreciate the absolute pain I can understand the absolute pain that you are in with that. My God. A whale is right. A whale is right. R.I.P. Oh, sweet Jesus. I wonder if this finished smelting. This is why I test build and creative. Listen, I can only test build so much, man. I can only test build so much. Anything to light? Oh, there is. Oh, there's tons. I just don't have the coal. All right, well, let me go get coal. Don't change it. Gives it character. Yeah, I see. I could finish it and just not have it bridge between the two. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of been what I thought of, where I was like, yeah, and then it just kind of looks like it's two sort of uneven bits. Or I could change up what I want the bridging to be between the two. But I don't know. In general, I think I should probably change it. But I don't know. I don't know. Oh man. The biggest builds here, I think, are really gonna just be that I need to do the other. No, here, I'll get to those thoughts in a minute. I have a lot of plans for the dock that I've been thinking of. Because I don't know, it's been on my mind as of late. I want, which is so stupid because they're on opposite sides of the map. I want two big projects on the go to kind of happen at once because I want them to become cornerstone projects. The dock is a cornerstone to this part of the district, and then the really big build for Rain will be another cornerstone for it. You know what I mean? Small curve in the bridge. We love a well-placed curve. That sounds like a double entendre. Coal, that's what I was here for. Because yeah, I don't know. Here, I'll get to them in a minute, but I got a lot of plans for kind of what I want the general build to actually look like itself. I think it could be cool. I think there's a lot of really cool ways to like pursue that. Why? And move that over there. Oh, I see it now. There you go. Took you a minute. See? It's easy to not understand. It's easy. You guys laugh at me. You laugh at me. You go ha ha ha. Yo, what up, Brent, dude? What's up, man? How do? Hopefully good. Hopefully good. Hopefully life's been treating you well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here, let me run this glass over because I want to be sure that we're getting close to the double chest, because it's gonna take about a double chest of glass. My number, like based on the blueprint I drew out, and it might take a little more, but it should take roughly a double chest of glass. I mean, it feels like it should take more, but I don't know, my math. I mean, then again, my math is often wrong, so it could be that I'm off on the math, because most of the walls are gonna be glass. Like again, like if you're wondering, so this build that I'm doing is the Crystal Palace build. So why did my Twitch not tell me to resub? I don't know. You seem to have the little hat, so I presume you've already subbed, or it auto resubbed or something. But yeah, no. So the if you've ever seen the Crystal Palace, which is a Victorian, maybe Edwardian build, it's a major build of the industrial period that was done in I think London, I'm pretty sure, and it was this massive botanical garden all within a glass building and all those other things. It's beautiful. Mine's gonna be a slightly different take on that look, but like it's that idea. The copper Edwardian where? Oh my god. No, not Edward. Funny, haha. So funny, but no, he's working. Much to his own chagrin. But alas. Alright, and then yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to be in the nether, I think, next time. I think this is too slow of a process. I mean, it works, don't get me wrong, it works, but like... oh my god, oh, did you just look it up? Yeah, if you look up the Crystal Palace, you'll see Crystal Palace London or whatever, I guess, or Victorian period or something. You'll be able to see what it looks like. I could, if somebody reminds me after stream, I could throw a picture of exactly what I'm thinking into the sub chat on sub exclusive sub chat in the Discord. Follow the Discord. But you know. So that would be, I could share kind of like some of the plans, because I like to share plans there. But yeah, it's going to be a big and elaborate build, but it's going to be one of the centerpieces of the city. You know what I mean? One of the jewels of the empire. Hard to argue with that, you know? Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts when it comes to the major builds of this city. Like, again, I don't feel too bad anymore, because I saw someone else who has a long running hardcore world who's not Phil's of Minecraft, and they're limited in their build as to what they have as well, because they don't have elytras and stuff like that to get around it easy. But even then, who gave you? No, who let you into that? Let me ask you a question. Bash. Give me them booties. Useless. But no, because like in general, I have a lot of plans for what I want to do. But yeah, I saw this other, and this is not disparaging, by the way. I saw their whole thing, and I was like, hey yo. Oh, all gold zombie. Those messages just came through, man. That's not. That ain't on me. That's listen. But no, it's not disparaging. It's just quite literally that, like, I sent the map to you next to it's not meant to be disparaging so much as it's just, I don't know, it makes me feel better when it's like, hey yo, somebody else who's also not like with a huge city already built, but they are building a city, and they're like they're 10 years into their build or something, like into their world, and I'm like, hey yo, okay, sick, I'm doing just fine. Because it gets concerning at times, chat. It gets concerning. Here, 1 second. I'll be I will be right back. I just need to. I'm gonna quickly run and grab myself a refill on Wawa because I am parched. But I don't know. Yeah. Look, 1 second. Let me just throw you up. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Don't burn down the chat. Come on, come on. That's so rude. That's so rude. Why? Oh my god. You guys are burning down the chair. What did I ever do to you, man? What did I ever do to you? Oh my god. Just one sec. Oh my god, not the Hydra, please! It's really hard to do one-handed. Oh my god, you're mean. Just one sec. Sorry, I know this is bad content. Sorry, just give me, I'm just... That doesn't even make sense. Sorry, I'm just responding to a text. I normally don't on stream, but this is slightly pressing. Okay, sorry, I just was getting a text. But anyway, no, I don't know. Actually, I really wanted to get a better idea of the docks. Yes, shaders, lore. But no, I wanted to get a better idea of what we're gonna do with the docks, just generally. And I think you'll see when I do this. It's a pretty good idea. All right, listen. So you see how it's kind of got this one. We're gonna build another identical sort of storage facility there, and then I want to remove those two islands. I think bring that chunk out a little further, and then I think I want to try to do like a Colossus or something like that out there. We talked about it before, I don't know, like forever ago, but I think that's gonna be the key for kind of really making this look cool. Like, you can kind of imagine a giant copper Colossus that's just gonna stand right there, and like the Colossus of Rhodes. That's kind of what I think I'm gonna be going for. Is a general like Colossus of Rhodes, and you'll see here when we get it past the gate. You'll see on this far side. I really do think that what we've done in terms of like the general vibe for the actual castle wall, I think it's been quite good. Like that looks sick. I think I do like the little slab on top, because you know, that's just nice. It's quaint. It's nice. But in general, I like how the lighting works. I like how everything kind of fits in. It's got a decent vibe. Maybe I want to add more vines or something, and I need to redo these towers. I think the towers kind of don't look great in comparison. I'm thinking of a kind of like Babylonian style maybe for the actual like towers, or maybe something that's like, I don't know, what would look good? Do you think maybe something Babylonian, or something that's more like maybe like Constantinople? Like the walls of Constantinople, they had some pretty decent walls, you know? So I think maybe, just maybe, these walls might look good with that too. Here, let's hop up onto the birch and see what it looks like from there. Cause like in general, I think I want it to be like stacked. I want multiple stacks of towers. So I guess compiling on top of each other is like the general idea that I want to go for. A compiling look to it. So, ooh, that does look nice actually from like a real distance. Yeah, that needs greater detailing, and then also I think another tier, and then maybe a top tier as well that like has like, I don't know, maybe something like a torch, or like some sort of like general fire to be added to the top. Like if we add like a general sense of fire, or maybe like a beacon, not like not, you know, nothing major, just like some sort of a firelit beacon, like the beacons of Gondor, you know, like that whole vibe that goes with that, you know. I think in general that could be a really interesting development, both for the city in general. Like it gives a break up to the general vibe that we go for. It adds some new possibilities for what we're going to be doing. I think in general that could be really good, you know. Like, if we really... What? Wait a second. Wait. What? What? It's expected. Wait.